This be crazy.
And now, a three-time sports editor, former online and managing editor, and host of Talk That Talk, award-winning journalist Terrell Chatterbox Emerson.
Welcome to it. Welcome to it. It is a little after 3 o'clock on a. This is gonna run like a Thursday show. It is a little after 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. It is time for the Talk That Talk radio show. Been a while since we've been back. I'm not gonna waste very much time at all. Sitting across from me, my guy Justin Russo is in the building. Russo, we're gonna figure this out right now because I don't like that. So you can't hear out of that one either.
No. These headphones, if you're watching me, are just cosmetic at this point. I had the other headphones that are sitting on this table right here on that did not work. I put these on just before we went live. These are also not working. If you can hear me, that's fine. I can
definitely hear you.
That's great. If the mic's coming through, that's the most important. I'll just be a little, different over here today.
Again, we haven't been here for a while. So I feel like that's kind of my way out, just in terms of being like, I don't know what the hell is going on. But if anybody heard our conversation, literally as the
pre-show panic,
literally, because I'm over here, because as soon as you said it, I was like, nah, it should work. And then I cut these up, and it didn't work. And I said, okay. So now I'm convinced that that box is off. That's what I'm convinced of.
I mean, I see a green light on it.
Did you cut it off and cut it back on?
Let's see.
We're going to do this one time, and we're going to get to it. But again, guys, this is episode 50. Did I lie? Okay. 52. Episode 52 of season 7 of the Talk That Talk radio show. It is episode 378 in totality of the Talk That Talk radio show. Again, I'm Terrell. Sitting across from me is Justin Russo. And
it is falling apart over here. Don't mind me. Don't switch me.
And the funny thing is, I started to sit here and be like, should I put this camera on him right now? But as Russo tries to figure out if these headphones are going to work, again, guys, this show is being shot from the Harry Reid Research and Technology. But this is a hell of a time to plug the building. This show is being shot from the Harry Reid Research and Technology Park here on Sunset, here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Again, guys, we're sitting in the studio, and
I've done all I can do.
And
I've done the extent of my tech support, which is turn it off and turn it back on again.
And it didn't work.
No.
And the other ones aren't working either still.
Well, let's go back to the other ones. Let's see. Live tech support continues here on our Monday show.
Oh my gosh, bro. Hey, first of all, I'm having way more fun with this than I probably should as the show host and the company owner. Like, I think all of this is great right now. This is making for great content on a Monday.
All right, moment of truth. Oh, these also do not work.
So. Oh, see, you said and I was like, we got it.
So, you know what? We're gonna slide these off right now since I don't even need them. It would be foolish of me to use them and just kind of.
I'm very confused. Weird, so at least you get to run it like a podcast almost, right?
Yeah.
You get to have some fun with it a little bit. I'll let you know with these beautiful babies how everything sounds.
Yeah.
Now I'm over here worried. I'm like, hello. But guys, again, these cameras, this studio, this setup can all be seen at YouTube. All you guys have to do is go to YouTube, go to the search bar, type in Talk That Talk radio show, go to YouTube, go to the search bar, type in Talk That Talk radio show. It's pretty much the same across every platform. You guys can do it on Instagram, Facebook. I feel like I'm missing one. I do this all the time. Apple, Spotify.
Okay.
The one thing that's different is our Twitter. Our Twitter is at Talk That Talk LV. Once again, our Twitter is at Talk That Talk LV. Russo, that is actually where I'm going to start the show before we get to anything too serious. I just realized that it's probably been X for a year or so. I've never called it X.
Twitter. I've
this is the Staples Center all over again, right?
At first, it was like, for me, it was I'm just so used to calling it Twitter, and now given what the owner of Twitter is doing and some of the things that he believes in, I'm like, nah, it's still Twitter. Like I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that.
It's gonna forever be Twitter, right? And even for me, and even when they try to not make it seem Twitter like, because there's as you said before, some of the things that are going on Twitter make you feel like this is not what I came here for.
No.
This is not the love that I showed up for.
No.
But we can get to it the only way we know how. I do have, at least I believe I have something from my mom. We haven't been in here in a while, so let's see what my mom sent this.
From how smoothly this has gone so far.
And you know what's funny? Like, we don't have like a doo-doo.
Yeah.
And with as many moments as we have like this, we absolutely need one. Let's see. My mom's tip in for today. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm talking to the microphone. My mom's tip in for today. How about this? And this has something to do with a topic that we're going to discuss, but nothing to do with a Las Vegas topic.
Okay.
This one I'm not going to tell you, Russo, which topic it belongs to. You tell me later on in the show, oh, this belongs to this.
Okay.
A lot of problems would disappear if we talk to if we talk to each other instead of about each other.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to read it one more time. A lot of problems would disappear if we talk to each other instead of talking about each other. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
I know what we're going to start with.
Tons of directions we can go to, but I have one at the top of my mind, I think.
Russo, we have football.
Yeah.
We have a lot of football.
You have the applause in your headphones. That's great. It's a good effect. I like that. Living vicariously through you.
I'm not doing this right now. Dog. I can't do this right now. But no, if we're talking football, we have to start with our local team. We have to start with some Raider talk, right?
Yep.
The Pete Carroll era is 1-0 to start the year.
Well, you can ask for
another round of applause because is it Jesse was on the show. Jesse Merrick, of the Silver and Black Nation. He reached out, obviously, or he was on the show, and one of the things that he said when he was here, he said, well, I've always been one of those guys that felt like if your team goes winless in the preseason, you probably should be kind of happy.
Yeah.
Like you guys probably didn't show anything. You guys probably know what didn't work, right? I wouldn't be that mad. The Raiders, and that's kind of the way I wrote the story, the Raiders had everything a preseason could ask for, except for a win.
Yeah.
And then you get to week 1, and I'm not going to lie, dog, but even with it's still a football game, right? So you're not going to go out there and score 45 points unless you're a Chip Kelly offense, wink, wink. So I do believe one of those explosions are coming. You could just see it is coming. By halftime, I'm looking at I don't even remember what the score was. By halftime, I'm looking at the game, and I'm like, I've covered the Raiders for 5 or 6 years now. This doesn't feel like the Raiders.
No, it felt a little different. And it's amazing what a good quarterback can do to fix a lot of problems on your team. And Geno Smith, 24-34, efficient in the game, 362 yards, touchdown and a pick. But you can just feel like there is a higher ceiling on this team now with Geno Smith at the helm than there was with the likes of Aiden O'Connell or some of the other guys the past few years. And I think it's all the more impressive that you look at the rushing effort. They didn't really run the ball all that well. Ashton Genty was bottled up for the most part. Did have a touchdown near the goal line. It was Geno Smith. It was on his shoulders to get things done. Lost Brock Bowers halfway through the game too, and Brock still had a 100-yard receiving game, but the passing game got things going against New England, and they found their success on offense. Defense played well. They stood tall against Drake May, who's expected to take another step this year, kind of keep up with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels in that conversation of those top 3 quarterbacks. And the defense looked great. Travion Henderson was a preseason darling. Everyone thought he was going to be a breakout kind of guy, especially for all the fantasy players out there. He didn't have a particularly good game, 27 yards on the ground. And I think when you have no Christian Wilkins, there was a concern that, okay, what do the Raiders do in the interior? How are they going to stop the run a little bit? Well, the first test has been passed right there. So I think for the Raiders overall, a really nice win, a great way to start the Pete Carroll era and the Geno Smith era for that. And I think if you're a Raider fan, you have to be happy with that start.
And to be honest with you, I'm happy that you said that because we're going to talk about pressure on opposing quarterbacks all day long for whatever reason, right? That was actually one of my takeaways, but you went the second route. You went to Geno Smith, and I'm not mad at it, right? You kind of just talked about it. 362 yards.
Yeah.
I started to do some research, and I wasn't able to. I had a busy. You talked about it on the way in. Not only did I have a busy weekend, but in particular, like my Sunday was.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy. So, I'm sitting back, and in between the Raider game and the Aces game, I'm figuring out this story, and I'm like, dog, I don't know that I've ever covered a quarterback that threw for 362 yards in a Raider uniform. I'm sitting back, and I'm like, maybe Derek, and I feel like Derek might have flirted around like 330, 340, just certain games, and you guys know how I feel about Derek Carr, but in one game. We saw, and we talked about it earlier in the offseason, right? In terms of Dont'e Thornton, he's going to be just what we saw him be on Sunday.
Yeah.
Had one big catch, but it was for 36 yards on a 3rd and 20. Actually had to come back to a ball. It was actually thrown behind him. Made the catch while sliding in the rain. So there's a multitude of things that made that catch, right? He was we talk about Ashton Jeanty. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns rookies, Shedeur, Dillon, whenever they get their shot, right? We don't talk about rookie receivers' first games and things like that. First couple of drives, I'm like, I don't expect him to really do too much right now. Remember when Trey Tucker kind of struck like lightning and we were like, whoa.
Who's this guy?
And then he did it again and we were like, that was the same guy, right? And then it just became repetitive. And we were like, oh, okay, this is what he does. I kind of sense the same thing with Dont'e.
And I think the stat line, 2 catches for 45 yards and the big catch that you mentioned on that 3rd and long, I think that's kind of the perfect way to get your start in this offense too, because it's going to be a heavy dose of Brock Bowers. And despite the trade request, it's Jakobi Meyers for now, and you expect him to stay. So heavy dose of Jakobi Meyers as the top receiver. And then Trey Tucker and Dont'e Thornton, pick your spots, right? When you need that key 3rd down conversion, or you need that one catch that just saves that drive, where Brock's covered, or Ashton Jeanty's covered out of the backfield, Jakobi can't separate. All right, I'm looking to Dont'e. I need this catch right here. You got to make that, and he did in that game. So that was an encouraging sign right there, where we were kind of looking at the receiving depth chart in the preseason and the offseason, wondering who would kind of emerge. There were some young guys there. Jack Beck, too, picked up a catch for 23 yards as well, but we're kind of waiting for that 3rd option to kind of arise behind Brock and Jakobi, or the 4th, I guess, behind Trey, and Dante's kind of fitting that bill right now.
And I don't want to sit here and be this guy that returns to the studio and lays on the sound effects, but I'm about to do it again. Round of applause to Pete Carroll and company for saying no.
Yeah.
I could imagine John Spytek being like, nah, not going to do that right now, actually. 8 catches, 97 yards. The thing that gets me about Jakobi, and I think Willie asked the question, maybe. Ooh, sorry. I like to try to give credit when I can, but there was a question asked to Jakobi, and he said, well, it was something about like having a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And it was like 1,000-yard season last year. Like, do you feel like you still have that chip on your shoulder? And his response was kind of like, I have to, apparently. Like, I mean, if you look at what it looks like, I want an extension. I feel like I'm deserving of one, and they don't feel the same. So I have to keep it on my shoulder, right?
Proving yourself quite yet to the people that it matters to most for some reason.
And here's the thing too. You can't appreciate, well, like, no, I take that back. You can't applaud something and then shame a person for having that same philosophy. I was one of those people who I was shocked that the Christian Wilkins release like everybody else. However, I told you guys, Pete Carroll came in and on his first press conference, he said, it looks like he's going to have a second surgery. Like, doesn't look good in that regard. That's not something that you hear somebody say right away. But the first thing I said was, this is Pete Carroll upon entry. So I don't know what happened before.
Yeah.
So you have to respect that. I'm dealing with everything from the time that I walk in. This goes back to Jacoby as well. If the philosophy is what the philosophy is, I'm going to see how you perform this year, and we will go from there. I can't necessarily love it in one situation and then rip it down in the next.
Yeah, exactly. And for Pete to come in that early and
completely different situations in terms of last year's production, obviously.
Yeah.
But just from Pete's perspective.
And I think Pete is probably one of the few people that has earned the right to kind of come in and say whatever he wants. I mean, he's been around forever in the college ranks and the NFL ranks. Like, if Pete comes in and says something and wants to call out a situation, he's going to do exactly that, and we're just going to have to live with that. You know, it's not like a younger head coach coming in kind of walking on eggshells, like trying to win over the veterans or something like that. Like, Pete's going to run this team how he sees fit, and he's going to utilize the pieces that he needs to. And if you're not one of those guys that's going to jump on board, then out you go.
And I love the fact that Jacoby's persistence in his career, persistence probably in perseverance throughout this situation is indicative of the way he plays football. Like, of course, everybody's going to talk about that one play where undershirt goes flying. You just see pieces of undershirt just start going flying. And what I found more interesting was like 2 or 3 plays after that, he did it again. And I was just like, yo, I don't know how tall Jacoby is. I don't know how much Jacoby weighs. Not a right off hand. He shouldn't be fighting for yardage like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, it goes back to the makeup of what he is. And one of the things that I remember I asked him last year, AP, last game of the season, he was like, Jacoby's a Raider. Like, I grew up a Raider fan, and like, he embodies what it is to be a Raider. And when I brought it up to Jacoby, I don't know that I've ever seen him smile bigger. He was like, that's all I want. Like, I want to, like, if I'm going to go out there and be this guy, I want to fit this mold. It just so happens that this mold kind of fits the Raiders.
Yeah. And I think from a fan perspective, that's why it's a little frustrating too, that they couldn't come to an agreement like that and the trade request had to happen, because obviously you might want that big number 1 receiver that a lot of teams have, or a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, or a guy that can just win on the outside all the time. And that's the guy, and we're going to take off that, kind of half of the field, and that's his. And Jacoby works into the slot a little more. He maybe doesn't fit that mold of that typical receiver. But when you have a guy like Brock Bowers who comes in and takes that big of a target share, and rightfully so gets that target share, you don't really need to build your offense around that kind of number 1 alpha receiver that a lot of teams have. Like,
camera's on me and you're talking. I'm over here looking like, why am I staring at myself?
He's just really digging into the thoughts that I'm pouring out right now.
Hey, so at least you guys know what I do when my co-hosts are talking. I'm locked in. I'm engaged.
He's attentive. But no, I think I think for the production that he gives you and what he brings to the team, he's more than worthy of getting that kind of money. Now, he's not going to get Justin Jefferson money, I don't assume, but he's worthy of wide receiver 1 money, I think. And it's a shame that didn't come to an agreement before the season. Maybe they'll get a deal done during the season. I know sometimes teams are a little iffy about that, but I mean, he's playing his ass off right now.
And it's hard to argue that. However, if you're the Raiders, you have to also think about, and this is later down the line, right? But you have to think about what positions am I going to dump everything into? And respectfully to Gino, I've said this before, I think the cap is 3 years here.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, right? But most people feel like if I say 3 years, they're taking under.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and do that. Now, you're you're going to pour money into Brock Bowers. That's going to be a high paid player. Cool. Ashton Jeanty is probably going to come. He already commands a lot, but he's probably going to command a whole lot more on that second contract, right? Where else are you going to spend the money? So I can understand Pete saying, now I have either a number 1 wide receiver and I go out and I try to go draft my guy, similar to what I did in Seattle, or do I go get that big name quarterback and I go put some of these Dante Thorntons, these Trey Tuckers, do I go put them on the map? So again, I understand it, the argument, right? I don't think anybody can argue that he deserves it. I just also think that we're dealing with a new front office, and I think that definitely changes everything. We literally just had this conversation before the show started. It happens in every field, number 1, and it happens since it happens in every field, it happens across every league. Like, you see a different organization come in and you'd be like, why is this person possibly being traded? They don't hold the same value to this new ownership.
Not their guy. Yeah, not their guy. And And for Pete too, look at where he's at in his career. Like Pete is not going to want to hook himself to a rebuild in any sense of the way. So it makes sense that he goes out and gets the quarterback for now. And maybe he and Gino's timelines are more similar than we think. This is maybe a last hurrah for Pete, and he's just trying to go for it one more time. But you don't want to really waste that much time building up this entire team where there are pieces there. There's enough there right now where you can kind of elevate them into a playoff team and then see what you can do when you get in.
And obviously, if I'm just staying true to who I am, preseason, I didn't have the Raiders making the postseason.
Mhm.
I have the Raiders having around 9 wins, somewhere around there. If they get 9, 10, I could see them being on the outside
AFC
looking
is always
in,
gonna
right?
be,
I still could
so
see them
tight.
being on the outside looking in. My hot take, I don't think it is. Well, I guess it's a hot take even hotter now. I had New England winning double-digit games to get into the postseason. So I still believe in Vrabel. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen how many times has something happened week 1, and you look back in December, you're like, that happened in week. How did
year.
that happen? Yeah,
Every year it happens.
so who knows?
The funny thing is, well, we could talk about it really quick. Obviously, growing up fans of football, I think it's gonna happen in Detroit. I don't know exactly. It's one or the other.
Mhm.
Either they're gonna win, like I was talking about, that 8 straight, and none of what happened in week 1 matters, or what they're saying about this offense and its direction. There could be some validity to it.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna bring up a game outside of the Raiders season to start, right? The Raiders week 1, I'm obviously gonna go to my childhood Packers. And
Impressive performance.
when I text you I guess I do earlier, right? When I text you yesterday, and I was like, I'm gonna talk a lot of football.
Yeah.
You want to be down, and you was like, yeah, you know what? Let's lock in. And it hit me. I said, of course you want to come talk football. And you was like, I think you got a couple of things to bring up too. I think you got a couple of talking points. My response was simple. I said, I'm surprised I still have a voice. Because I don't get a chance to be a fan. I tell you guys that all the time, right?
Yeah.
We say it all the time. We don't get a chance to be a fan very often. I'm sitting at home. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. The Raiders play at 10. Aces play at 6.
There's a window.
Do I get to watch the Packers?
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. Obviously, we knew that Micah was going to be kind of sporadic in terms of playing, whether it was the back, whether it was the philosophy or the scheme. A bunch of different things kind of played into it, right? I say never, because I'm kind of in the moment, but I don't remember the last time a player played every other 3 downs or so and made as big of an impact as he did.
Yeah, it was funny to watch because the initial crowd roar when he got in for the first time, you're like, oh, there he is, and he got the sack in the 4th quarter too. Like it was one of the weirder moments too, where it's just such an energy that was brought. I mean, I think back to when Luka played his first game in LA too. It's just like, holy crap, this guy's on my team. Like, this is crazy. Like, oh my God, he's on wearing my colors right now. This is nuts. So you could feel the energy from the entire defense when he got out there. And then, I mean, the performance just spoke for itself. Like, they had all the reason to cheer for their defense because they didn't let up a whole ton for the Lions.
No, it was insane. It was one of the better performances I've seen from Green Bay in a really, really long time, just in terms of just as a collective, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest. When I said that I'm surprised I have a voice, it was for the little moments, right? Yeah. And then it was for one big moment in particular, but it was for the little moments. Him being matched up with Penei Sewell. There was a couple times after the whistle where I seen him kind of smack Penei's hand down again, and I was like, yeah, get it, like embed yourself into the rivalry. I remember we were in high school, and this is high school, right? And I don't like Fairfax High School. Like, it's a real thing. Like, I really don't like Fairfax. One of our assistant principals went to Fairfax to be principal. Mm-hmm. I found that out when I went to homecoming last year. I was mad last year, dog. Like, yo, if you don't tell Mr. Choi to come here real quick, fam, like, you don't do that. Like, you can go anywhere. You don't do that one.
The one place.
I remember somebody came to to our high school, maybe 11th grade, something like that. They kind of wanted to know right away. They was like, I want to be a part of this rivalry. Like, what do we do? Yeah. How do we be on it? Like, it was one of those, right? That's kind of what I got from Micah. I understand what he said, and I forgot who made the argument, but somebody was like, Teddy Bruschi said, don't bring the drama from Dallas to Green Bay in terms of the trick plays or is somebody that can't beat you straight up.
Yeah.
Again, being that guy, I'm with you. I don't like giving other team bulletin board material. There are certain positions on the field or the court, whatever, where I don't mind it. I kind of like the defender, what now would prove to be our best defender when healthy, doubling down and saying, yeah, nah, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah.
So aside from seeing the little small interactions with Panay, right? When he's lined up in the middle and they have to double him, I said, okay, all right.
What's going on here? Yeah.
And then he lines up on Panay again and he gets inside leverage. He forces that hurry. That forces that interception. That's when I almost lost my voice. Because I said that's what's going to happen. There are going to be situations. The TJ Watts of the world, the Joey Bosa's, the Nick Bosa's, the Von Millers, the DeMarcus Wares. We can keep going down the list, right? And for as many sacks as they get, they have 30 extra pressures that could have resulted in 12 extra sacks. So that's what he's going to get a lot of. So I just hope the secondary is ready to lunge into position as they were on Sunday, because he's going to force a lot of guys just to want to get the ball out their hands. Yeah. Did you see what Myles Garrett did to Joe Burrow?
Yes. Not funny, but funny.
No, hilarious. Hilarious, because this is what we watch the sport for, right? And sure, Joe doesn't even seem like that guy that'd be like, well, you do it.
Yeah.
Most of us, no, we're not at that level. Most of us have taken a hit like that. So we know what it is, which is why that video, as soon as I seen that, I thought about the video of, no pun intended, it was Geno. And I think it was Myles Garrett as well. It was another kind of like double stun action. He comes around. Geno was like, oh God, and he threw it to the ground. I'm not taking that hit, fam. No. The fact that Joe stood there is the reason why we have the respect for Joe that we have. Joe, don't do that next time.
You think he would have learned too? I mean, it's AFC North. He's not his first time against Myles Garrett, but you know.
Speaking of AFC North,
what a great segue. There's two directions you can go, and I'd be happy for that.
This is all you, brother. I have nothing to say. I have something to say. I have something to say on the back end of it, but especially after boasting about my Packers for so long.
Yeah.
I gotta let the floor. I gotta get a floor to you, man.
My Steelers with a 34-32 victory over the Jets. Shout out to Chris Boswell. Never a doubt. 60-yarder. Super easy for him. I know that there's a new the K-ball rules, so the 60-yarder did look quite easy, but that's my guy right there. Like, he never misses. But I mean, the game overall, I'm not a very big Aaron Rodgers fan as a person from what I've seen in the past. So I was like, look, he's my quarterback. I'll root for him, but you know, I'm not going to super hop onto the bandwagon, but hey, I mean, the washed version of Aaron Rodgers was better than what I saw at quarterback for like the last 3 years on this team. So I'm more than happy with that. Like, just some of the throws he was making still, even though you could tell the mobility wasn't there, like post Achilles, it's not really like the pocket mobility is not there, but just the play recognition, even when they got him onto some of those bootlegs, some of the throws he was making was impressive. I can't even remember the last time. It was probably Ben Roethlisberger that threw 4 touchdowns in a game for the 2020. Steelers. Yeah, so like it's been quite a while for the Steelers, and the defense worried me. The Jets ran all over the Steelers defense, which was what the Ravens did last year, and which was terrible to watch in the playoffs. The Steelers' first round pick Derek Harmon was out, so might be some reinforcements on the way in a few weeks when he gets back from
Cam Hayward plays
MCL spray. Yeah. It was a little bit of, you know, credit to the Jets. Breece Hall looked great. Justin Fields looked great too. Like I didn't expect that from Fields. Like he was 4-2 as a starter last year for the Steelers, but it was up and down. You could tell they was limited a bit. It was kind of like, just don't turn the ball over and we're going to be all right. But he made a lot of plays out there with his legs. He was fitting the ball into some tight windows on some key third downs, and he looked great. But I was just impressed with the Steelers offense, man. Like it's very funny that the Steelers defense is paid the way it is, and I expected them to look a certain way, and I hope they get back to that at some point, because they need to get back to that. But the offense looked better than it has in, like I said, probably since Ben Roethlisberger was there. Jalen Ramsey was great down the stretch. That last hit on Garrett Wilson was super fun to jar that ball loose. Lots of things to clean up, but hey, I'll take the win. That was super fun, and yeah, it's enjoyable to watch Steelers football so far in 2025. So that's all I can ask for.
Brother, where am I starting? I'm starting with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I told you guys, I think Jet land is where quarterbacks go to die. And the scary thing is, I said when Justin went there, I said, I don't know why he would do it. I said, but in the back of my mind, I was like, he would be the guy to go out there and shock people because nobody expects much from Justin anyway.
No.
And I think the fact that nobody expects much from Justin is a little insane. Like, let's look at where he was in Chicago a couple of years ago. It wasn't, you don't have those expectations that you have about the Bears now that you did, or then you didn't have them then that you have now. Pittsburgh, and this is where we'll get to that game yesterday, actually. It looked a lot like he had a lot of fun airing that ball out.
Yeah.
It looked a lot like he wanted to show that sideline, hey, I could throw the ball more than 10 yards. I just want you to see it.
And after last year, too, like I was going into the offseason, I was more of the let's just re-sign Justin Fields and let's see what he can do. That's kind of where I was standing. Steelers kind of lowballed him. They didn't give him as much money as the Jets offered. They wanted to have their cake and eat it too, so to speak, with a cheap quarterback. But
they would have signed Aaron anyway.
Yeah, so who knows? But you certainly saw the flashes last year from Justin. It was only 6 games he started. You saw some of the flashes there, and I think maybe looking back, it was an offensive scheme limitation that was put on him. Like I said, to play Steelers football, quote unquote, not turn the ball over, run the football, play defense. But some of the stuff was there in terms of the arm talent yesterday that we saw that was great. He still used his legs very efficiently. It was kind of like the Jets are going to want to run the ball a lot. It was a Ravens light kind of offense where it's, let's hand it to Justin, or, we can give it to Breece Hall, throw Braylon Allen out there in goal line situations. But it definitely wasn't one of those things where you're sitting there and thinking Justin Fields, he can't read the middle of the field. He's not doing very well in his progressions, or he can't throw the ball. Like, it was all on display yesterday. And he looked, all the makings of a first round quarterback were there, like we were hoping for in Chicago all those years ago.
The sad part is, I feel like Justin is going to go out there, and I feel like, and this is going to be the crazy part, because have you seen the favorites for comeback player of the year?
I've not, no.
So Aaron Rodgers is on there. Aiden Hutchinson, I think, has the highest odds. Dak is on there. There's just some different players on there, right? I don't believe Justin Fields is on there. I think Justin Fields is going to have a ridiculous year.
Yeah,
I think nobody's going to talk about it because the Jets are going to win 6 or 7 games. I think Justin Fields is going to go out there and play his ass off this year.
You say 6 or 7 games, like the way he looked yesterday, they could be right up there with the Raiders, with the Steelers, and the that wild card hunt kind of behind that first tier of teams in the AFC. Like, I don't see any reason why not. Their defense struggled a little bit for sure. If the offense, it was kind of the same for the Steelers and the Jets, where it's like, we didn't expect our defenses to struggle this much, but our offenses are cooking, so we'll take it. Like, this is awesome, or this is great. But so I'm sure things will even out for both teams down the stretch. But if he keeps playing that way, he took care of the football again. Like, I don't see any reason why they can't get there.
Yeah, no, I'm actually with you. We can end this portion of it by saying this: you know better than anybody. I wanted Aaron Rodgers to go to play for Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Fresh out of Green Bay. That's what I thought the best option would be, right? I just feel like he would be around football knowledge to the point where they would put him in a position to succeed, wouldn't have him moving as much. They would be able to draw up a scheme to where he would probably be able to get the ball out a little faster. And we know about Pittsburgh football, right? Stop the run the football. So I would think that they would surround him with a couple of guys that can run the football, right? And ironically enough, the Dallas route is what I thought they would do. The Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, I thought they would go get a couple of backs, and this is what they would kind of surround Aaron with. But even with everything I said, let's say that Aaron goes there 3 years ago. Is it 4 years ago now? 3 or 4 years ago. I wouldn't expect year 4 of Aaron Rodgers away from Green Bay to look the way he did in week 1. You would have damn near thought I was a Steelers fan.
It's funny. Like, I had an expectation in my head of what I thought it was going to look like, because I've witnessed some terrible offenses the past. It's been like,
just say you had a nightmare. It's okay.
Yeah. Like, Russ had his moments. It was bad down the stretch, but he had his moments. Like, Fields was okay. So I'm not even necessarily talking so much about last year. I'm talking like the Kenny Pickett, the Mitch Trubisky, where I'm like, how many times we can go 3 and out in a row? Like, this is
talk about Raider quarterback Kenny Pickett. You watched that.
I will say whatever I so please about Kenny Pickett. Someone texted me when Kenny Pickett got traded here to Vegas, and they said, "Is this what you wanted?" I said, "I want a restraining order now. Keep this man away from me. I don't want to see him in this town ever." But
oh my god,
it got rough there, and like there was a certain like expectation I had for that game of like, all right, if we can get like 23 points, like I'm gonna be over the moon. Like, this is gonna be great. And came out and it was like offense still struggled at times. Like they had some 3 and outs. The young offensive tackles, Troy Fautanu and Broderick Jones, had their hands full with Quinnen Williams and Will McDonald for sure. But hey, I mean, I can't knock 34 points like that. And like you said, Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career, you're not getting prime 2011 MVP Aaron Rodgers. We know that, but
are we?
But that's what I thought. But even so, you're thinking, okay, if we can get 60% of that, that's fine. Like we're getting 60, 70, 80% of that right now. Like the way he's playing, like, and especially down the stretch last year with the Jets, there were questions I had and kind of looking back at some of those games, or it was more flashes than it was the consistent play that we were hoping for. But so far, so good. I'm going to overreact to week 1. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's fine. Yeah, that's what we do.
That's just usually what happens, right? I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday, talking about the Raiders, and I was like, "We're gonna overreact. Don't worry about it. Like everybody has a unit over. It might have been Chris Wynn, and I was like, everybody's gonna overreact." So from what originally was the game of week 1 to what actually will probably be the game of week 1,
might be the year, depending on how.
Oh my gosh, brother! I'm covering the Aces game. So I'm watching the game and I'm like, okay, I see where it is. Okay, I'm watching. Okay, Jackie. Okay, damn. Okay, layup. Okay, I'm back and forth, right?
Oh, there's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then I look up and I'm like, okay, this game is kind of stalling a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and focus on what I need to focus on. I'm watching whatever I'm watching. We're in the back for the post-game press conference. As we're leaving, I think somebody told me they won. And I was like,
nah.
I'm gonna be honest with what I said. I was like, yeah, the Dodgers yesterday, right? Like, yeah, if I'm Yamamoto, I'm kind of tight too. Like, I'm mad at myself, but it is what it is. Like, and they were like, nah, Buffalo. Bills? Buffalo was down 16 points, brother. I think you're wrong. Like, there's no way in hell. So just from that, and here's the worst part of it. The worst part of it, I have a bet to pay up on Thursday night. And when I come in here and I wear whatever shirt that I wear and I give the shout out that I give, I'm so pissed off that Buffalo will be 1-0 at the time of me doing that. I wanted to do it on the show. I probably would have did it a couple of episodes ago if we would have done it. But just don't judge me. Are you here Thursday? You're not here Thursday. Somebody else. Who's here Thursday? No, I'm not. I think Alex Wright is here Thursday.
Okay.
I know he's going to look at me like.
Maybe I will too.
What? No, you're going to. Everybody's going to. It doesn't matter. But once you guys see it.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Once you, it's going to be the hardest 2 hours of my life, dog. I'm going to have to do a whole show talking football, looking like a damn Buffalo Bills fan. This is disgusting. Anywho, when I get to that on Thursday, that will be one thing. But for Josh Allen to follow up an MVP campaign with a comeback like that against who many people, myself included, believe should have been MVP. The reason why I'm not mad is because Josh is almost like the James Harden, right? He's going to get one at some point, right? So give him one. And whichever one, I do feel like it's kind of impossible to look at Lamar's numbers last year and not give it to him. So for Josh to kind of follow up that performance with another, hey, I told you so. I told you so, rather. Hey, dog, way to double down.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive for him to come back and win that game, too. But I feel like this is where Lamar catches some of these strays, too. Like I don't like the Ravens. I'm a Steelers fan. I know, but what did Lamar do down the stretch that lost them that game? Like, Derrick Henry fumbled. The defense for the Ravens crumbled at the end. Like, and now that's going to go as a 0-1 on Lamar's record. And he played one of the best games like I've seen him play. Like, that Houdini act on 3rd and 10 to run 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage and then pick up 20 plus yards. Like, he was insane in that game. Like, it was unbelievable. And I'm still processing it too, because I don't know how the hell they lost that game. And I pulled up a stat here that somebody sent me, somebody that had a Ravens money line bet that was not very happy about it. Teams with 40 or more points and 235 or more rushing yards in a game were 277-0 in NFL history, including the playoffs. And that was the first such loss in NFL history yesterday. So offensively, outside of maybe the Henry fumble, of course, like the Ravens were pretty flawless, and they couldn't figure out a way at the end.
I'm gonna give you another stat then, because maybe I'm going crazy, but I read a stat that says something that John Harbaugh has 19 double-digit blown leads.
Yeah, I saw there was a bunch of graphics being shared. I saw someone they shared just the score bugs from all the Ravens leads that they had blown. And
by the way, my mom is in the comments saying stop talking about her Ravens. I forgot she was a Raven fan.
Oh,
so I should probably.
I respect to your mother. Really, really. Maybe want to mute this. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say he's about to follow it up with, but no. I feel like Mark Andrews. He's about to go off.
And that's another thing too for the like throws a perfect pass to Mark Andrews who drops the ball. Like it's like so I hate playing against when the Steelers play against Lamar because it frustrates the hell out of me because there's just like no way to stop him. But I feel like this is another one where he's going to catch a stray and the old time like Allen versus Lamar saga, and it's like. He played a hell of a game. Like, and the same thing for the Ravens as the Steelers. I'll say like, where's the defense? Like I look at some of the names on that Ravens defense and what they brought in with Jair Alexander, you're getting Marlon Humphrey back. You just signed Kyle Hamilton. And like, I feel like it takes one to know one, right? Steelers poured, it feels like hundreds of millions of dollars into this defense. And I'm watching the Jets run down the field on them after Elijah Vera Tucker had nothing, he's out for the season. Like they're running down the field on him. And the same thing for the Ravens too, where it's like, I get it's Josh Allen. I get that the Bills have weapons too, but like need to stop at some point. Like and tough decision at the end to punt it instead of going for it. I think back to the Belichick versus the Colts of he gets all of the crap in the world for going for it, not getting it. But like the defense at some point you need to stop on defense, right? You put up 40 points. I need to trust in my unit at some point.
Here's where I'll slightly, I'm not even gonna say disagree, but where I'll slightly tweak what you said. Yes, you get it. It's Josh Allen. Nobody looks at Josh Allen's pass catchers and goes, okay, he has a dog that you got to say respectfully. Everybody, he got Amari Cooper. And this is not me trying to be disrespectful, but I'm going to tell you one thing. And this is why I knew something wasn't right. Amari Cooper came in, right? Never seen him in person. Didn't see him this last time for sure in person. My brother, who's a Raider fan, I call him and I was like, I like the Raiders going out, getting another name. You know what I mean? Just in case Jacoby, they do end up doing that.
Yeah.
I said, does he look bigger to you? And my brother kind of laughed. I was like, no, I'm dead ass. And he was like,
he's in for this right now.
He was like, well, yeah, I was like, okay, did you see him in Buffalo? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, got a good feeling.
Yeah, is he
retired.
Is he Russell up big or is he Kelvin Benjamin big?
And I didn't know which, and I didn't know the answer. And I was like, this looks like a man who we knew what he was.
Yeah.
He ain't really got nothing to prove. I mean, he didn't win, right? But he's like, okay, I was an NFL receiver, and we know that Amari Cooper was not to be played with.
Yeah.
Footwork was what it was. I said he doesn't look like that right now. So I say all of that to say his last stop was Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Jair Alexander point really quick. And we're running behind now a little bit. But let's go back to the Jair point really quick, only because as a Packer fan, right? Did you hear me say anything in the offseason when they lost Jair? There was an initial, damn.
Yeah.
And then I went about my way.
We'll be all right.
No disrespect to Jair, especially because I feel like you have cornerbacks who are disruptive and you have cornerbacks who go and get the ball. Jair goes and gets the ball.
Yeah.
That defensive pass interference that we saw downfield with Jair, I was at the Aces game, looked down and was like, damn, Jair. Like that, like those are the moments that as a Packer fan, I would be like, fam.
You're too talented to be doing
way too damn talented to be doing like that. And then here's my only thing. Being a Baltimore fan too, with all due respect, and having Marlon Humphrey,
and
feeling like we got all the talent in the world, and it's like, damn, why don't it show? I'm just letting you guys know, having Jair Alexander is going to make you feel great at times.
Yeah.
You are going to feel the same way in some other moments.
I feel like that happens so much with corners that have been around for a little bit, and that initial kind of, like you said, of losing him from Green Bay, where like, darn, but then there just becomes an age. I don't know what it is, but there's just some guys that float around the league where that okay corner to burnt toast transition becomes immediate.
Fast.
You're like, oh my God, like this guy was a household name and now he's a liability. I can't like.
And you're the only one who gets a pass because Jalen looked bad for about a year and a half. And then I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Jalen looked, I don't want to say, and the funny thing is, if Jalen was in front of me, he would be like, win. But there was a point where Jalen, it might have been a Super Bowl year. Jalen didn't have the best year that the Rams went to the Super Bowl. And then I think to start in Miami, it wasn't the hottest. And then Jalen hit a switch. And that's why, with all due respect, when he came in the way you want your cornerback to talk, when he came in the way that he did, I was like, does he give me Revis? Does he give me Woody? Does he give me And I sit back, and this is what makes him different. This is what puts him in those tiers. Because we had a year where we was like, oh, Jalen's cooked.
Yeah.
And then the following year, it was like, please don't throw the Jalen side.
No.
I don't know what happened, what Wheaties he ate this morning, what vitamin, what regimen he didn't have to.
Yeah.
I watched that game yesterday. Well, couldn't watch it, right? Because I'm watching the Raider game, but watching the red zone, ain't no way in hell, dog. I watched that game and said, Jalen looks like he's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you talked about age. Jalen's added weight.
Yeah. Bulkier a little bit, like physicality gone up.
The way that Pete wants Jamal to play linebacker, I looked at Jalen and was like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
What is the difference? They're literally the same human.
And I think, too, for Jalen, like, he's become, they've thrown the star kind of player on the defense, too, where it's just like, just throw him around anywhere. Like, just have him out on the field and something's going to happen. Like, he's going to make a play. And
the funny thing is, we hear cornerbacks make excuses when they get burnt.
Yeah.
And I've heard him make excuses when he get burnt. One particular time, I think it was in the Super Bowl, somebody said something to him. He said, we're in a zone. I can't do anything. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, he's right. Like, he was like, I'm in my spot. Anyway, really quick. On Thursday, I'm not paying up fantasy bet. Damn it. I didn't finish last in my league. So watch it. Everybody out there, chill out. I didn't do that. But I did lose a bet in terms of who would get further in terms of Buffalo and Green Bay. So that's why I have to pay up on that bet. So I'm here to say we're here for another fantasy season. I've had so much going on in my life in general. I wasn't going to do it until Daryl sent that message to the group and was like, you guys want to do it. I think I actually said it in the group and I said, I have to work the bar tonight, but I'm down. I don't know why that Wednesday night decided to be super busy. I didn't draft my team. Even better, Russo, I have not taken a look at this team until right now.
Okay.
Would you like to know what my team
I would love. So is this
my
an auto draft or did
this
somebody
is an automatic
draft? Okay.
I'm terrified, brother. But let me timestamp this so I can know how disgusting this gets.
You should give me the phone and I can read the team one by one.
Yeah? Okay, I'm actually down. Hold on. Is this it? I think this is it. Is this the team? Okay, this is my team, I think.
All right, let me go grab this.
I'm nervous as hell. I just saw the Giant logo, so now I'm scared. I'm like, this doesn't look good.
Cam Scattaboo, round one. That's a weird pick.
I'm like, so we drafted our backup running back first. All right. Okay. Where do we go?
All right. So what do you want me to go? I'll just go as the draft happens. So
okay. I'll take that.
First round pick. You had pick number 8.
Okay.
Malik Neighbors. That's your Giant.
At 8? Okay, that's the Giant logo I saw. Okay. Yep. Who's their quarterback? Oh, damn.
Well, for now, because
Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart week 3. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Second round pick, Brian Thomas Jr. Not a big day yesterday, but okay, not bad.
LSU boys. All right.
Third round, you've gone for your quarterback already. Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's a lot of touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. I'll take that.
Round 4, first running back who scored a touchdown yesterday, James Conner from the Cardinals.
Okay. When healthy, James is nice.
5th round pick. Little upside, had a rough day yesterday, but Calvin Ridley from the Titans had some key drops yesterday. That wasn't the best. Round 6, your second running back who opposed Calvin Ridley, RJ Harvey from the Broncos.
Okay. I think RJ be nice. What was that, 6 for 70, I think, yesterday?
Yeah, he had a pretty good game. He ran off a big one, too. Round 7, I believe this guy scored a touchdown yesterday, too. Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts.
I like Pitt. That's an SC, baby.
Daniel Jones play.
Who Who would have thought?
I mean, dude, I saw that score and I was losing my mind because I was like you. I was watching the Steeler game, just kind of peeking at some of the other scores. I'm like 17, 20, like 30. Like, okay, Miami. Like, let's. All right.
Stop at some point.
All right. Next, we have another receiver. One of the wideouts that you thought was just a guy, I guess, a few minutes ago. Khalil Shakir from the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm so sorry, dog. I'm not. What round is this?
That was your 8th round pick. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Josh got to throw the ball to somebody.
Round 9, we've gone for our tight end, Dallas Goedert from the Eagles. So you got the Hurts Goddard stack.
I like it.
Now this next one I have yet to see a proper pronunciation of the name, but I think it's Baishol Tootin from the Jaguars.
Virginia Tech running back.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Round 11. Round 11, we've got Braylon Allen from the Jets.
Okay.
Running back. Then round 12, defense, Seattle Seahawks. Not terrible. Had a pretty good performance yesterday.
They're in the NFC West, right?
Yep. 20 points, or I think it was 20 to the Niners yesterday, but held them off the board for pretty long stretches.
All right.
Really love your round 13 pick.
I was going to say I love Pete, but guess what?
Round 13 pick, you got a lot of points from yesterday. That would be your kicker, Chris Boswell.
Hey!
Starter. Round 14, Christian Kirk.
Okay, I like Christian.
Houston Texans. And then...
How old is Christian now?
I don't know, man. Like,
I feel like Christian's getting older on me.
Houston, and I had Nico Collins in my one league, and it was I did not enjoy myself.
it was rough for a minute.
That was round 15, we got Michael Wilson from the Cardinals, wide receiver, and then to round it out, round 16, Pat Bryant, receiver from the Broncos. So
okay, all right.
That's
waiver wire active,
not terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad. Round 8, you started to get. Where was Calvin? Respectfully to Calvin, really, where the hell was that one?
Round 5.
That.
5. Hey, Cam Ward looked great.
I'm gonna get angry, dog. Like, you know what's funny? I'll tell you one story real quick before we move on to more football. I worked at the movie theater, and we had a fantasy basketball league. And I was like, "Oh shoot, we're drafting as I'm leaving, the concession stand." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I'll draft in the car." For whatever reason, I realized I didn't have the app downloaded. So I'm like, you can't draft on the browser. So I'm like,
oh God,
no. So I'm just watching my team auto draft on the browser. So now I'm driving. I'm like, let's get home. First pick, Dwight Howard. Score. I look down. Second pick, Corey Maggette or somebody. All right, I'm with it.
Hey, fine, yeah.
Next pick, Josh Smith, who was a free agent. I sped home. What the hell is happening right now? What is going on?
Smith. What
are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, even Corey was getting last minute buckets in Milwaukee or somewhere. Like, Josh don't have a team yet. Dog, I flew home. I told everybody, hey, first 5 rounds don't count. Hey, hold on, timeout. Y'all got to give me
restart this. Yeah,
y'all got to give me one free trade. Something.
Yeah.
Like, dog, this ain't fair.
Auto drafted a dude who wasn't there.
I think Andrew Bynum was 7th round. That was his Philly year.
Ooh, yeah.
So whatever year that was, where did Josh go that year? Josh might have been a last minute signing to the Clippers that year. Yeah. That was 2011. I don't know how we ended up here. But anywho,
we ended up on fantasy basketball.
I like my receiving core in fantasy right now, but I'm gonna use some of them receivers. I'm gonna try to package them together and get a running back. Are you playing fantasy this year?
I have a league with my family I do every year, so I wasn't able to make the one that Daryl brought up, even though I think I won it last time I was in it. So
all right, here we go. Next, all right. Anywho,
maybe 2 years ago or whatever.
Where's the next topic? UNLV, yeah, another win.
Yeah.
Hey,
good one.
It's Victory Monday for everybody, man. I'm gonna be honest. You guys know last year I was real critical of UNLV football. Even this year, I was like, if they lose 3 or 4 games, it wouldn't shock me, right? Because it's still a win for UNLV. If UNLV goes 8-3 with a bowl win, that's great. Like, I don't even know if
it's crazy how fast expectations change though once you get a little taste.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I was in the playoff conversation in December. Like, I just expect that every year now. Like, I'm going to be disappointed. This is going to suck when we're not in it.
And the interesting thing is, right? You look at the schedule and you go 1, 2, 3. Well, UNLV can really only lose these 3 games, right? Like, if they were to lose, right? And here's the thing. Anytime you're playing a Big Ten team, it doesn't matter, right? My dad was like, oh, well, you're going to beat up on UCLA, and I told him, I was like, dog, this is why college football is so great. If UNLV wants to be the best in the Mountain West, you should beat the bottom of the barrel Big Ten teams. You should. We've seen this program on down years beat a Vanderbilt team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a down SEC team. If you're one of the better teams in one of these group of fives, you go out and you go get one. I told my dad, this is usually where UNLV's gets humbled. This is usually where it's like, you guys are cool, but you're not here.
Yeah.
And I said, what I'm interested to see is the point of attack. That line of scrimmage is going to tell me a lot. I said, because usually we get out there and you look up and you realize some guys from Boise are not built like us.
Yeah.
I said, so what do you think we're going to see when we see UCLA? I said, so I'm interested to see how we respond to it. I thought it was going to get ugly one way or another early. As soon as that game started, and I saw UNLV's offensive line literally down that defensive line's throat, I'm not going to lie to you, dog. For the first 3 quarters, everybody kept looking at me. I was looking at I don't know. I have no idea, dog. I don't know. I didn't expect this.
No.
Like I said, even if they were to pull it out, I said I didn't expect this.
No, I mean, UCLA looked awful last week against Utah. Like, they were run all over. It was not close. Like, it was just a beatdown. So coming in, I was thinking, all right, are we going to get a little bit of that, or are we going to get a motivated UCLA team that wants to really respond to that? And first half, I was thinking, this is the same thing I watched last week. This is UNLV running all over UCLA, and this is amazing. Like, the run game's going. Like, Calandria's getting out of the pocket. He's running well. He's making some really nice throws, like, especially in the first half. He had a couple of incredible throws. There's one for a touchdown, I think. I can't remember which touchdown it was, but he had one along the right sideline that he pinned on the receiver in between the corner and the safety, too. Like, he was excellent in that game. But
how about the game that Colandrea had? Jaden Bradley, who came in with 12 catches for 256 yards, didn't have a catch to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, and you never know. Like Colandrea looked, I think he's looked better as each game has gone along. Of course, the first game, it was him and Orji were kind of splitting reps. And I think after Orji fumbled, it was we were quick to say, okay, like, it's probably going to be the Colandrea show. And we saw that versus Sam Houston State, or Sam Houston. I don't know if they dropped the state, but
did they?
I can't remember, because I feel like
they're in my story as Sam Houston State.
I could be totally out of my element here. So let me.
I'm out of mine. What's worse is, do I go back and change it?
No, Sam Houston State University. There you go.
Okay. Good.
I knew them as, bro. But see, now
I was like, I typed that in
because their website is just Sam Houston Athletics. So I don't. That's why I was like, okay. We're both right. Who cares?
But that's what's funny. If you're ever on the website and you see a story got published, and then like you'll randomly see updated 9 weeks later, that's why. Like sometimes I find out stuff and I'll be like, go change. My OCD is gonna change. Don't bother me. Go change it.
No, but yeah, I think he got better as each game went along. And in this game, 15 of 21, 203, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Like, I think that's kind of what you want from him too, where it's just make those plays in those big spots, use your legs to get out when you can, and see if the run game can get going to the extent that it did. And I mean, Jaden Thomas had 61 yards. Calandria had 59 himself, and it felt like it. Like, he was scrambling on key downs all the time to pick up some yards. And I was more impressed with just the way that they kind of kept things together in the second half as a team, right? Like, UCLA dominated the second half. You could feel the momentum shifting completely over to their side. And as a UNLV fan, I'm watching like I kind of know how this story ends, especially when you start to do the numbers in your head. You're like, all right, they're down by 10. Like, they're going to get 2 more chances at this. And I think the fourth quarter, they played really well by getting that touchdown early in the fourth quarter, UNLV, just to re-extend the lead to 30-13, but forcing the field goal to make it 30-23 instead of allowing a touchdown on that penultimate drive for UCLA was so critical, because it felt like the Bruins were going to walk into the end zone and it was going to be a 3-point game, and they were going to get the ball right back and have a chance to win it. So that was critical there. And despite some of the holes they had on the last drive, like, UCLA got down there pretty quickly. They were in the red zone pretty fast. Like, just getting those hands up, getting the pick, and just finding a way to win. And at the end was impressive. So perhaps not as good as it could have been, and maybe not as big of a statement win as it could have been, given how well the first half went. But look, you beat UCLA, you beat a quarterback who was in the playoff last year. Like, it was an impressive win for me.
So as somebody in this field, you know better than anybody, you gotta stand on what you say, right? And I've been very, very vocal about Paul Gunther's defense, even in wins, right? I'm like, there's
week 1 was week 0, whatever. Yeah,
several 20+ yard plays. Week 1, you're giving up 2 long touchdowns on 4th and 1s. I know he's not out there making the plays, but we have these conversations in sports talk based on resume, and we saw what the numbers looked like when he was the Raider defensive coordinator, right? So I feel like I was well within my right to do so. I also love being able to come in here and be like Paul Guenther. What a hell of a job in that first half. I was able to actually ask Amaris Brown about the pressure on Nico. Nico never looked comfortable.
No.
And that's one thing as a quarterback, if you're never able to get comfortable, you're not going to win that football game. I don't care what's happening around you. There were different designs in terms of that defense to where, I'm going to be honest, the thing I've had in terms of this defense, the gripes that I've had have been big plays.
Yep.
They didn't have a chance for any big plays. No. Nico didn't have any chance to breathe in a pocket. And then we start to kind of see previous UNLV years, right? In terms of quarterbacks dropping back and you don't even go through your progression. I got to get out of here, dog. Yeah. Like there's everything is collapsing around me. So great job by Paul Guenther and his defense. Amaris Brown ends up getting an interception late. I believe he has 4 in the first 3 games, or 3 in the first.
He's racking them up.
I don't know, brother. It's insane. Or the team has 5 in the first 3. It's definitely a wild place to be right at the present moment. I did talk to Dan Mullen after the press conference because press conference ran a little long. It usually does. Football usually does, right? And didn't get the chance to ask him the question on air, but we talked after, and I asked about Alex Orji. And I was like, they probably said it on the broadcast, but we didn't hear it in the building. Like, what was going on? He said he took a helmet to the knee. He said kind of one of those things to where he's pretty sure that it's sprained. He said that it was one of those to where he just needed to see how bad it was sprained. So he said doesn't know what it looks like moving forward. He said, but he is extremely happy that it's a bye week because this entire week Alex will be resting up in terms of that knee. So Alex could be ready to go the next time they suit up. They could hold him out because of precaution, which we saw with Brock Bowers, obviously in week 1 with the Raiders. So really forthcoming. And that's not something that you see coaches be in a lot of different instances, but Dan gave a lot of details after the game. So good to know that Alex is in good spirits, took a helmet to the knee, and maybe playing the next time. Unless you got news from this morning.
I do have news from 47 minutes ago, and I'll credit Paloma Villicana from Fox 5.
Talk to me.
Alex Orji is out for the remainder of the season due to a hamstring injury that will need surgery. So he is not as well as we initially thought off. Cam Free will move up to the backup. So Orji is out for the year.
You can't write this script any better just in terms of the way that this show goes. Because I'm literally telling you what Dan Mullen told me. And I could imagine Dan got in there this morning and was like, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one of those things where
that explains why they kept him out. Sprained knee or not. They was like, something ain't right here.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like what happens a lot too, where injury happens in game like that. It's obviously not like, an Achilles or an ACL or something like that, but it's serious enough to where you just want to keep him safe, especially because he's been in more of like a package role, kind of just playing those limited snaps. But man, that's a big blow. I mean, just to not even have that option now, especially if Anthony Calandria goes down, like not to have that insurance. And look, Cam Friel, of course, he's been around this program. He knows what to do. We've seen him play in some big games too, but tough one there.
Yeah, no, that was tough. That was breaking news. Shout out to Paloma. Big shout out to Pete. That's why I gave that round of applause. Wow, that changes some things, man.
Because I like you. I think I don't know if I listened to the whole broadcast, but I was definitely watching the whole game. But I remember when they came on there with that report, and I think it was similar, helmet to the knee kind of thing. Like I didn't seem like it was super serious, but it was like, oh, they're going to hold him out. And then, given what you said with Coach Mullen, like I think we were all kind of hopeful that it would be a few week thing and he'd be back mid-season at least. But yeah, that's a tough one too, especially with the excitement of that 2 quarterback system coming in, and it's already kind of washed away, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking about just now too, because UNLV went into Sam Houston and Alex didn't play, right? Yeah. And then it was like, okay, well, now we can game plan for Calandria. Then he starts the next game, and then Alex comes in and start the second drive. And then it's like, damn, so we didn't scout for him. Like we was thinking that y'all found y'all starter. And that's what I thought he was going to play with, because I think Alex was going to start another game somewhere down the line. So I did think that was Dan Mullen's strength, right? In terms of not really knowing what guys was going to be able to do what, or having teams not knowing which guys were going to be able to do what. That's definitely a tough blow for this team. Sitting at 3-0 now at the start of their bye week. I was going to say heading into their bye week, but now at the start of their bye week, yeah, that definitely a big blow for this group. We have basketball talk, but
okay.
While I do that, we were supposed to have a show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Not last Thursday.
Things got in the way.
But two Thursdays ago. And the funny thing was, and here's the funny thing. This is the great part about this show. I can be honest with you guys. We're at the event, and I told Nighthawk Communications beforehand. I was like, yeah, no, I'll come. I'm not working. Like, it's not what you think. Like, I'm not coming to write a story. Like, yeah. I'm coming to enjoy the festivities. And they were like, okay, cool. Like, come on down. I got there, and they had my dog Russo working. So I sat there, and I was like, I said, so Russo can't party until after he's done working. Then we're supposed to do the show. By the time I left that championship celebration, I went to go have sushi, and I was looking at Russo drink, and I was like, why would I end this? Why would I do that? So I think that's when we actually sent out the tweet and was like, in honor of the celebration, why not?
Yeah, just
like when the Aces and the Knights have their parade, whatever day that is, we cancel everything. Or we do it earlier or whatever.
Yeah, work around it.
This is the same situation. This team was celebrating. Let everybody celebrate. Yeah. So I was out at sushi and I was like, yeah, nah.
Yeah.
You text me twice and was like, so are we doing it? I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're good.
I don't think we are. So we're just here to say all at the same time that the championship celebration is still on for the first time. IFL champion Vegas Nighthawks. Congratulations to the team. New contract extension for Curtis Chin. So I know a couple of guys in that offense are going to be very, very happy with that. I know nobody's probably more happy than Mike Davis. I have this picture to send you. I have both of them guys puffing on their cigars by the bar at the championship celebration. It was definitely a moment.
They were chilling over there. I said goodbye to them before they left, and they were just hanging. They were enjoying.
And that's actually what I wanted to do. I wanted to give you a little opportunity to kind of just talk about that experience, and it's fun to see different. It's fun to see the city show up for different teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know they're gonna show up in different ways, but we talked about it at least 2 or 3 times there. We were like, dog, this is dope. Like, we didn't know what they were going to do, but we didn't want it to be small, right? And we got our wish.
Yeah, it was fun. I think we had closer to 500 RSVPs for the event. I mean, so it was a pretty big event. It was at the M, the pool outside the M, for those who aren't aware. Yeah, it was just a championship celebration, and I got to be on stage and interview a handful of players and just kind of talk to a bunch of the guys, too, during the night about their experience, which was fun. And, you know, the guys all enjoyed it. The fan support was great, you know, just seeing everyone. And it was just a good time to just kind of unwind and celebrate after what had been a very hectic few weeks of playoff action, turning into a random home playoff game, falling into their lap, to being on the way to Tucson for the championship and winning that game on the final play. So I think everyone was happy. They were just kind of taking it all in, you know, the championship celebrations. And it was a fun event. It was a fun way to culminate the season.
And I'm happy you said what you said in terms of culminate, right? Because somebody asked me, was I going to the celebration? And I said, yes. And they were like, you have a radio show that night, something. And I was like, yeah, I know. I said, the plan is to still do it after the celebration. And I told somebody, I said, you know what's so interesting? I said, and this is a conversation we've had since UNLV. Yes, there are some reporters out there who cover, I'm going to give us an example. I don't know anything. Let's say somebody covers the Browns and they don't like the Browns and they're like, great, you guys are in turmoil. You guys are always losing, whatever.
Yeah.
I promise you guys, there are 10 times more people that think, why would I want to cover a losing program or team?
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, when the person asked me, was I going? That's what I ended up explaining. I said, you know what's so funny? You'll see me do it every now and again where I told you I try to reflect, maybe take a day to reflect once the season is over, because this is a blessing. What we do is an extreme blessing. The Golden Knights season in, and I'll just sit there and I'll be like, you covered 7 games. Like, relax. But that's a blessing to cover those 7 games. So why would I want to cover a team that loses constantly? Like it's just on to the next season, on to the next season, on to the next season. I remember the Aces first championship parade. I had to work it. I was not sober. Nobody was. You damn right I drunk.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I drank a beer at why am I blanking? Right outside of the T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah.
I drank a beer right outside a beer house. I drank a beer right outside of there. This is the fun part. Like the season is over. You just said it. This is the culmination.
Yeah. Why
wouldn't we all let our hair down? That's why when I walked out and I saw the Nighthawks communication team talking, I was like, hell no, not doing a show tonight. Why? Yeah. No. You guys go out. Go enjoy yourselves, man. Yeah. Great season. Great. I'm going to be honest, man. I know this sounds kind of cliche and corny. I'm going to shout out the fan base. Yeah. There's a lot of things to do in Vegas on Saturday and Friday nights. And me and Mike talk about it a decent amount. There's people in here, dog. And you know better than anybody the way that almost said Dollar Loan Center, the way that Lee's Family Forum works.
Yeah.
If you scream in Lee's Family Forum, that John echoes. So if you put the amount of fans that the Nighthawks continuously bring out in that building, it gets loud and it stays loud.
Yeah, no, and I keep thinking back to that Western Conference Championship game that I didn't find out until Monday night that we were doing the game, and we scrambled together a TV broadcast and got it all together. But shout out to all the fans that on quick notice were like, yeah, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to support my team. Like, I don't know what plans I had for Friday night, but now it's to go down to Lee's Family Forum and cheer on the Nighthawks. So impressive stuff there for them to have a full building and the full fan support for that one. Really fun to see. One of the better atmospheres that I've been a part of with the Nighthawks, probably only comparable to the last playoff game they had last season that didn't go their way. But no, it was incredible to watch. And the fan support continued to that event. It was great seeing all the people out there, all the kids getting their autographs and stuff like that, pictures with the trophy. Fun.
You know what's funny? I have a picture with the trophy myself, and I'm like, it's one of those moments my dad told me. My dad was like, send me all the pictures that you have. And I was like, I am. My dad had this conversation with me, and I need you to do it too, because you need to do it. And I know we joke and laugh a lot, and especially as men, we don't hold each other accountable, but I'm dead ass serious. Like, I'm very serious. My dad was talking to me. He was like, don't you have a picture with Roy? And we were talking about college basketball. So I was like, Roy Williams. I was like, I do. Like, I did that for you. Like, you know I'm a Duke fan. I did that for you.
Yeah.
He was like, no, Roy Jones. I do have a picture with Roy, with both Roys. And he kind of laughed and was like, you forgot? And I was like, I did. And that's why he was like, send me the picture.
Yeah.
You do the same, brother. You should absolutely do that. Like, I'm telling you, I thank God for my parents. Like, that's why they tip in, right? That's why they every now and again, they do give me a call and be like, you're doing some dope stuff. Like, you should probably start bookmarking it. So you should do the same, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely do it, man.
You get lost sometimes in the rhythm of things where you're like,
sometimes the answer is all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
you and me look up, we be at work and we just keep walking.
Yeah, like you're at a playoff game, or you're at a big event, a professional sporting event, and you're covering it for a living, and you're just like, this is what I do. And you get lost in it sometimes. Then sometimes you, like, I find, being fortunate enough to cover a team in the Golden Knights that's been to the playoffs every year that I've worked for them. Like, especially when the playoffs begin, I find myself being like, this is like insane. Like, how many times I grew up watching Stanley Cup playoff games, and I'm at this game right now. I'm working this game. All the eyes are on this game that the people want to see, and I'm here working it. Like, sometimes you got to pinch yourself, and you're just like, this is crazy. Like, this is cool.
Absolutely. That's why, like I said, I'm happy that you have the conversations that you have with your family, that I have the conversations that I have with my family, because that's usually who's going to keep you.
Yeah.
That's usually who's going to keep you grounded, right? Damn, I didn't made it emotional all of a sudden. I was like, damn, Dad, you're right. Mom and Dad. I was like, you guys are right. But I think it's my mom's idea to come up with a little scrapbook. So I'm going to send her a bunch of stuff. So shout out to her.
For
sure. I'll tell you one quick story really quick. As we were talking about that, my dad was like, yeah, you got Jerry West. You got this. You got that. I said, I have Penny. He said, if you fucking bring up Penny Hardaway one more time, I have Penny. I don't know, Doug. Like, I don't know. I know you said Jerry West and Kobe and them, but hey, I got Penny.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think you realized. Bro, everything stopped when I saw Penny at that Aces game. I'm dead ass serious, dog. It was halftime. I was like, excuse me. Oh, Penny, hey, real quick. I know you don't know who I am, but
Yeah.
I'm getting this picture, Doug.
That's funny.
That's funny. Mom, are you crying? That's hilarious. I know she's not at home crying. Somebody gotta send me that if she is. But speaking of fan support, right? It's been beautiful to watch this final regular season homestand for the Aces, right? Take place in the T-Mobile Arena. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't want to do this to them. The Aces, yes, Michelob feels different. The Aces are a big enough team to where you just feel like something more should be there, right?
Especially with the recent success.
A lot of it, right? But I'm walking into the T-Mobile Arena in 2 of the last 3 nights, 4 nights, whatever it's been, and I'm walking into the arena, and with all due respect, I never covered a Laker game, but I have been blessed to go to a lot of them. Walking into Laker games, walking into Clipper games, I'm like, this don't really feel much different, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the suites fill up. I'm looking at valet parking. There's people screaming in the park, in the self parking. This is no different.
Yeah.
And Asia talks about loving the house, right? But she talks about the big house being the T-Mobile, and she's like, I just like playing here. Like the energy is different here. Like it's brighter here. It's louder here. Like I love home. We made it what it is, but this is just a little different, right? So, my mom said she didn't cry. She said, but you know, I will in a heartbeat. That's hilarious. That's probably where I get it from. Stop doing that. But in all seriousness, this Aces group has rewarded this fan base with this continued win streak. Right now, the win streak is up to I'm losing count.
Yeah, I literally just pulled up the schedule because I'm like, I don't know what it's at this point. It's getting insane.
Okay, but look at the schedule, and I'm hoping you're on ESPN. I don't know. I don't work for you guys.
I'm on the WNBA website right now.
Okay, so I don't know exactly how they do there. I think they have the arrow pointing towards it. But if you go to ESPN's, and I did this a couple of weeks ago, if you look at the first 2 months of the Aces season, I haven't seen that much red in about 4 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth. It's kind of like what we talked about the Nighthawks earlier in the year, where it was like, is this gonna pick up? Are we gonna get something going here? But yeah, I think not only the losses themselves, but some of the lopsidedness of like the ways they were losing too, where we had major questions about the roster makeup and who's gonna do what, and do they really need Kelsey? Like there were a lot of questions that we were asking early in the season of like almost to the point of, do we need to blow things up a little bit? And now it's just
business as usual.
Yeah.
And here's the interesting thing too, and I haven't had the chance to ask Becky this, but I'm gonna wait until practice. I wanted to ask Becky, sitting at 14-14, did you know that you had a record-setting team in that locker room? And I remember, and there's the one conversation that I can admit that I've had. I don't remember who I was talking to, but somebody was like, might have been my personal life. Somebody was like, oh, the Aces are 14-14, and I made the joke and was like, well, I don't think they're as bad as they've shown. I don't think they're as good as some people still think they are. I said, but one thing is for certain. I mean, they're not going to like go 30-14.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Russo, they haven't lost the game since I said that.
Nope. No,
and it didn't hit me till last night when I was doing the story. I was like, they're 28-14.
It's insane.
They might go 30-14.
And it's so crazy too, because like just remembering where we were in the beginning of August, like I think we did a show like right after that completely historic loss to the Lynx, where we're like, this team is like, oh my god, like this is not like anything we've ever seen from the Aces. What's going on? And for them to just immediately pick themselves up and put together this streak is insane too. Because I remember talking at the time, we're thinking, what's the highest they could get seeding wise? You know, maybe they'll get up to the third. Hopefully, they're probably going to end up 4th, 5th, 6th in that kind of bunch of teams. Now they're I mean, they're in that top 3 battle right now comfortably in the standings. They are just, it's incredible to watch the turnaround. And you know, it's stupid in a sense, like, oh, it's crazy they're up there now. Yeah, they won 14 in a row, but it's just the way that they're getting there is insane.
We did that show when they were 16-14.
Yeah.
So that was right after the second Golden State win.
Yeah, so
well, the
first 2 of the streak. Yeah,
literally. So that was, at the time, they were tied with Seattle for 6th. And now they currently hold on to the 2nd spot in the WNBA.
Yeah, now they're chilling.
Already, and this was interesting because my story was already done by the time this came out. But Well, the email got sent.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the Aces clinched home court through the quarterfinals with the win yesterday. So you clinched the top 4 seed. I'm still interested to see where this goes because I mean Atlanta and Phoenix are making it interesting. So, pardon. It's going to be interesting down the stretch, but let's highlight a couple of things really quick while we have about 40 minutes left in the show. Am I right? Yeah, about 40 minutes left in the show. But 14 straight dubs for this group. A'ja goes out and has another historic 30-point performance. I wish that I had the damn camera on you. Because that's exact.
Yeah.
And I've had the conversation with her before too, and I tell her I'm guilty of it, but it's like, it's not to be disrespectful. I told her it's one of those things to where you cover so much basketball and you get repetitive. You be like, okay, well, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. No, you guys, if you guys have ever followed my live tweeting is usually like, okay, it's details of the game, but usually there are some things that you could just expect. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you guys when somebody hits double figures. I'm gonna tell you guys when somebody fouls out. I'm gonna tell you guys when a technical foul happens. Like certain things that just are guaranteed for me. Me tweeting 10 points for A'ja Wilson, 20 points for A'ja Wilson has just come second nature. And I looked up.
Probably schedule the 10-point tweets at this point. Like, yeah,
because it happens before the first quarter is over, and it usually happens on like a 5 of 6 start, something crazy like that. And then you can probably pencil in 3 or 4 blocks. So it got to a point yesterday where again I found myself in that moment. I look up and A'ja had 23 and 7, and I sat there and I was like, I know if I bring it up to her, she's gonna be like, dog, it's 23 and 7. But that's not easy to do.
It's not normal.
And I'm like, she just does it night in, night out. And when I said A'ja had another historic 30-point performance, your response was like, dog, I'm okay. Next topic.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you want us to say?
Looking back at looking at the game log right now, 7 of her last 9, she's had over 30. Like, and the other 2, she had 18 and 19. So like not even bad games in between. She had 18 and 9. The one game she didn't, she had 19 and 13 against Phoenix, and the 2 games that she didn't have 30. And it's just what you expect at this point. It's kind of insane where it's just the consistency is off the charts. Like a person who's already a multi-time MVP that just continues to just show out. Like, I don't even know what more to say. It's just like, yeah, she's one of the best players in the world, if not the, at this point. When she gets on these streaks like this, she's up there with Nafisa. Like, it's insane.
You know what I actually say in moments like this, and I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. And I just went back and revisited Candace Parker's, and I gotta add something to this real quick. When this is all said and done, A'ja Wilson will have an overall resume that rivals Tim Duncan and Candace Parker and the likes of GOATs like that. I'm not having the conversation about A'ja being the best player in the world, because now the conversation becomes, how long was A'ja? It's getting LeBron Jordan-esque.
What was her reign?
What was the run?
Dominance like? Yeah.
That's not the conversation I'm having about A'ja anymore. What resume are you putting side by side with it? Because I don't really know a more decorated hooper at the present moment.
Yeah, it's then especially,
and she's 29.
Yeah.
By the way, that's why I said what I said.
Exactly. Still right in her prime, and many more to come. Like when you think about international play as the gold medal now, when you think about the college resume with the championship, you think about the multi-time championship, the MVP, like
both ends.
Exactly. Yeah, you start to think it up, and maybe, yeah, you'd have to probably go back to some of those UConn teams where these players just got to the NBA or the WNBA with 3 or 4 championships in their back pocket, because that's what UConn just did. But like, even then, like, how many of them ended up as multi-time MVPs and multiple time champions that won back-to-back and are putting up some of the performances like this? I mean, most 30-point games in a WNBA season ever already. So like,
two games left,
2 games to go. So you can probably put another game on the list. You think she's going to get 1 out of 2, and they still need to win and still need to secure the top 2 spot at least. Like, it's insane. And like you said, it's not the conversation of current day topics anymore. It's legacy at this point, and resumes and all that kind of stuff, where we look back and you're comparing Hall of Famers to Hall of Famers and thinking, oh, is it top 15, top 10, top 5? Like, how high are we going on this all-time list?
You guys know how I feel about Maya Moore. I don't have very many conversations about Maya Moore because I feel like what she would have done would have been Herculean, so I don't necessarily. She's like a. You know how Dexter's Laboratory. I've been thinking about Dexter's Laboratory all week for whatever reason. Like a boy genius. Like you just know he's. And she opted to do something different.
Yeah.
So I told my dad, I feel like that's the closest thing I got to like Barry, right? Like we know what Calvin did, but Calvin played a little bit.
Yeah.
If Barry walked away when y'all said he did, mine's is Maya Moore. Because when she walked away, I was like, no, go handle that. But no, like, damn, dog. I held out hope that she would come back for about 7 years after she left. I was like, maybe we could still get her.
Still
you think?
Surefire Hall of Famer, like
and still guaranteed already a Hall of Famer, right? Shout out to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, which we'll actually get to in a brief second. But as far as A'ja, I feel like, and I think the last time I said it was COVID year, I said Breanna Stewart is the best player on the planet. With all due respect to Stewie, the reason why I don't think it's a conversation 5 years later is because of what I said before. Breanna Stewart does get out on the perimeter and she'll block a shot that you'll be like, damn, that was a game winner that she just blocked, whatever the case may be. Stewie is an all-time great. Stewie's going to have that resume conversation as well at the end of it. I think where it differs and A'ja takes the advantage is I have how many defensive player of the years?
Yeah.
And the conversation just ends there. Yeah. There's nothing to say. A'ja is rivaling some of the greatest defenders to play the game while challenging DT or Candace Parker for the greatest player to play the game. And you just don't see that.
No.
It's insane. I don't know, bro. It's like if James Harden literally had DeJounte Murray's passing passing lane ability.
Yeah,
if he had his ability to play the passing lanes, like that's not a real human right there.
No, like I pulled up just the Wikipedia page of A'ja just to. I mean,
are you still scrolling?
This is the list for. I don't know how well you can see that, right?
Oh, they can see it.
But I'm pointing. This is the accolades list on this side, and as you can tell, it's words that are off the screen because I have yet. I'm still going. I'm still scrolling. Like there's just still so much. Like 2-time champion, Finals MVP, 3-time MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time All-Star, 4-time First Team, 3-time Defensive First Team. Like it's just it goes and goes and goes, and then you get into the college accolades, and then you get into the high school accolades, and then you get into the international accolades with a bunch of gold medals that I'm staring at right here from the World Cup and the under-18 and the Olympic Games 2 times now. Like,
so pause there. Pause right there. Because keep in mind, and I tell A'ja this too, I have to realize that I'm walking down the hall and me and A'ja randomly slap hands and I'll be like, that's fucking A'ja Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I realize it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I was reading off that because I made the resume argument. Yep. I'm reading off some of A'ja's stats or some of A'ja's accomplishments. And you know what's funny? Because that's why I said, are you still scrolling? Because I just looked at it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it block by block. I'm reading everything I see on the screen. The person on the phone was like, damn. I said, and we ain't touched her W stat shit.
No.
And they started laughing. Everything I just gave you is either internationally or collegiately. I haven't touched anything she's done in the league yet.
It's nuts. I mean, it's crazy how you can compartmentalize certain aspects of her game, and I like doing that with like in any sport. Some of the best players, where you think, oh, if this section of them was one person, they'd be a Hall of Famer. Oh, and if this section, like what they do with Brady's career, like, oh yeah, Brady from the first stint in New England for the first 10 years, that's a Hall of Famer. Oh yeah, from Brady from 32 to 42 is also another Hall of Famer that would be in the Hall of Fame by himself. Like it's just like it's one of those players where you're like, how many different Hall of Fame careers do you want to have at once that is packed into one player? And like you said, she's not even 30 yet. Like and she just turned 29. Like
that's the wildest part. The wildest part was I think A'ja claimed her 3rd MVP in No, she's on number 3. A'ja claimed they cheated A'ja out of her 3rd. I say cheated because we know what it was. And again, like I said before too, the reason why I don't go about and be like, oh, she was cheated is because Stewie's gonna get him. Like it's just gonna happen. I still think AT got cheated out of one somewhere. So it kind of is what it is, right? Just from that perspective, I'm looking at A'ja as I'm trying to look at A'ja in pockets, right? And you kind of just talked about it. If I said Stewie was still the best player on the planet in 2020, the year that A'ja got to the finals for the first time and got swept, now I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, because she started her tear right after that.
Yeah.
which I still don't think was her peak.
No.
Which would
Somehow.
mean that title that she won that following year, that second year after getting swept, that wasn't her peak. I went on record saying that her peak was that second title. Like the start of her peak was them winning that second title.
They were dominant that season, yeah.
So if that's the start of her peak, we get 4 or 5 like this. Dog, that means we're 3 years into it.
We're still here.
That's why I said she's 29.
Yeah.
So if you think that not only A'ja is 29, but A'ja has at the very least 2 more years of being this dominant, dog, this is gonna get spooky.
I was curious too because I looked at the all-time scoring list in the WNBA because not a list I had seen.
This is really interesting.
And so I was just seeing where A'ja is. Do you want to guess where A'ja is on the scoring list if you don't know? Like,
now I'm nervous.
I can tell you how many points she has.
That might give it away. She just passed 5,000 earlier this year.
She's 5,685 points.
I feel like 16 is too low, which is what I was gonna say originally. Can I go 12?
21st, so a little lower than you thought.
Okay,
so
that's better. I was gonna be worried about the W for a second.
What is funny, and you can mark this down for probably next season. She is. Let me do the quick math. Let's see. This is gonna be terrible math. You know what? I'm gonna pull out the calculator just to.
I'm about to say, give me an estimate, give me a roundabout. That's what I do.
It's not even that big of a number, but it's just enough to be like, yeah.
I tell people all the time. We work with words. That's fine.
Oh, and I did it the wrong way. See,
this is why we work with words. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
if A'ja was here, A'ja would be like, don't worry about it.
All right, she is 156 points away from Becky Hammon.
156.
156. So
how many more games we got this year?
Got an 80 ball in you, A'ja? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what this woman might do, dog.
She's 156 away from Becky Hammon. She's about 300 behind Breanna Stewart too. Breanna Stewart's got 5,900. Jewel Lloyd's 9 away from 6,000. So if you want to mark that down for
before this regular season is over, Jewel will touch 9.
But I was just curious where she could end up. I mean, you look at she's at 5,600. You can climb all the way up to 7th, which is Candice Dupree. She's at 6,800. So that's 1,200 points away.
Yeah,
like
that's one season.
Yeah, like she could get there. Like NECA's in 6th, Tamika Catching. I mean, like Tina Thompson, DeWanna Bonner, Tina Charles, and Taurasi's. I don't know if anyone's going to catch her, but
at some point
with the longevity that she had, but maybe with the extra games, you never know.
Now, here's the thing too, and I don't think this is sexist even in the slightest, and it's always nerve-wracking when you say something like that on air because you're like, oh my god. One of the things that I find most impressive, we always talk about like a Dwight Howard, right? Back in the day, he would do whatever he did and he would do it with a smile. This baffles me because if you know anything about A'ja is you saw did you watch the way she walked into the game yesterday?
I didn't see that, no.
So she stole another one of Bam shirts, but she had on the red Balenciaga shirt that Bam had wore during the WNBA Friday night.
Okay.
When or maybe it was Saturday night with all the festivities. She wore that essentially as a dress.
Gotcha.
So she smoked the fit, right? What I always find amazing, and I think I brought this up to A'ja once before. A'ja goes out there, gives you 35 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 4 steals. A'ja comes back there to come do the press conference, and A'ja is in the middle of answering the question. She'll scratch her nose, and I look at a fresh set of nails. That baffles the hell out of me, and it still does, and it always will. I don't care what anybody says. No matter what A'ja does, I look at her nails sometimes, and I'll be like, that's a damn shame. That's truthfully a damn shame.
That's funny.
I don't even know where I was taking it. I don't have anything else to say besides
observation.
She's bro. And that's what I'm telling you. When I'm walking in the hall, we're at practice and we quick little dap. I see her at a Lady Rebel game and I'll dap her up. This is going to be one of the greatest to ever do it when this is all said and done, dog. And that's why I tell her she's the most approachable superstar I've ever seen. Like, I've never been around Steph. I feel like Steph could probably challenge that. I've been around Kobe. I was around Bron. I was around KD. Not significantly, never covered them like this, but I see why some people kind of hesitate and be like, well, I don't want to say nothing to them. They might come off a little. I got great stories about all of them still. This one is different. Even Candace. My first time around Candace, I was like, I don't know, dog. She might. I don't know. I don't know if I want to approach her right now. But Asia and Candace ended up being great.
Yeah,
Asia is different. Like, and again, I think the age really has a lot to do with it. I think Asia grew up in an age. I'm a year older than Asia, and maybe 2 years. And I think when she'll say something and she'll bring up like a Nuck If You Buck reference. Me and Asia was damn near in 5th grade at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
she gets it.
She gets it. So I think that's why when Asia kind of just walks outside, I'm just like, yeah, the 12-year-olds love her because she gets it. Yeah. Like she was 12, 15 years ago with me. Like this is what we did. Mm-hmm. So kudos to Asia. And I definitely have something that I'm working on behind the scenes with that just in general. I had another conversation with somebody too, really quick. I had a conversation with Dana Evans yesterday too after the game. Another little glimpse, something else that I'm working on. But 28-14 on the year, second in the W. Again, they clinched home court through the quarters. Regular season home finale is tomorrow night, 7 p.m. from the Big House, from the T-Mobile Arena, 7 p.m. Chicago is back in town. Really quick, let's just highlight before we get to baseball. 2 outstanding young players that we've talked about for a long time, and that's Caitlin Clark and that's Angel Reese. Where do you want to start, brother?
There are lots of places to start with both of these stories, I guess, but
where do I start? I guess we start with the one that we just saw in the building, right? So we just saw Angel Reese, and here's the thing. Angel was already suspended for the first half after comments that the Chicago Sky deemed detrimental to the team. And then Callie fan tweets out at halftime that Sky PR got to her, and obviously we found out later that Angel wasn't playing in the second half either, citing her back.
Mm-hmm. Perked up.
So where did your ears perk up when you said, because when you just said what you said? Because I'll tell you where mine did, and I think it's a completely different spot.
I'm just thinking like back. Yeah.
Interesting. So maybe yours did perk up the same place I did. Nobody can tell a back injury.
Yeah.
So if Angel never plays again for the Chicago Sky, you can cite that back injury.
Mm-hmm.
So if she gets traded in the offseason, whatever the reason is, Angel Reese may have played her last game with the Sky.
Yeah, I mean, it's I get the spot. I get she wants to win, right? She's a part of a team that in college had that kind of success, and you come in and it's a little different in the WNBA, right? Because it's a smaller league, the talent's more concentrated. You can turn things around a little faster. It's not like the NFL where you're going to a 1-win team and you're the savior quarterback and you got to wait 5 years to get good. But like some of the stuff she's saying, like she makes it feel like it's her against the world a little bit. And it's like, I know the season might not be going the way you want it, or some of the players around you are, look, they drafted where they drafted for a reason, right? But like, you're the rookie in here. This is your first time in the league. Like, you got to just be a little more aware of like, all right, I don't want to piss off everyone that I've been traveling with all season, the team that I've been working with. It's just like, and maybe that's just a sign of youth, right? And maybe it'll come later down the line, but it's just, you got to recognize a little bit too, like, it's not going to get easier by saying any of the things you're saying.
And here's what's so interesting about it is I hate that Angel Reese is going through this, but I have a real life situation that I'll compare it to. I remember I was in a newsroom, right? And you've been around me. You know how I run a newsroom, and you know how I've been in newsrooms. Without saying names, there was an editor-in-chief that we had, and I was cool with all of my EICs. We had an editor-in-chief that they're at a particular paper, and it was either mistakes in the paper or our numbers were down. Something wasn't right? And the person was up there and they was like, hey, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I know what we're capable of, and this isn't it. Like, and to be honest with you, like, it's not just my name on it, like, which is why a lot of people probably would think that I'm up here, I'm angry or whatever, but like, your name is on it, your name is on it, your name is on it. Like, this is fucking bullshit. Clean it up. Let's go. And again, Russo, I come from sports. I was in my cubicle and I was like, see, the man said get to work.
Yeah.
I looked out in the newsroom and there were some people that was like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh shit, he just lost half this newsroom. I'm not in the half that he lost.
Yeah.
But everybody don't respond well to that.
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, I looked at the faces in the newsroom and was like, oh, this is a wrap. I was like, oh, this isn't going to work. The person came back and apologized. And I'm going to be honest, after the apology, it kind of cleaned it up. But it doesn't typically happen.
No.
And me and him was talking offline. And I was like, I don't think you did anything wrong. But I come from sports. You come from sports. Like, everybody does it. So to me, I don't think what Angel Reese said was bad. I don't. Mm-hmm. I think it has more to do with what you said, unfortunately. You're in year 2.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to point to videos, and I'm again, I was in the building yesterday. Angel Reese was up, she was clapping, she was threes in the air, she was dapping up teammates. Her energy was there. But respectfully, first thing that went through my mind when I heard those comments, I was like, if I was Ariel, I would have been like, who are you talking
to? It's like you can't say the quiet part out loud sometimes when you're on a bad team. It's like the GM and they know what the stats are. They watch the film. They know what's going on. They're not everyone's sitting around and wondering, oh, everyone on this team's averaging 30 and 20, and why are we losing? It's like, okay, we understand there are some holes on the roster, right? Like, everyone gets that. It's not a secret, but you have to just kind of be patient sometimes and understand that, and maybe something behind the scenes happened, that we aren't privy to, but you have to understand everyone's working toward the same goal. We all want to win. Like, it's not that, you might not have the same exact vision for the players are brought in and everything, but like, we're all trying to get to the same exact place. And like you said, I don't think nothing she said was nothing that I wouldn't understand if I was not a WNBA fan. I just watched a game and saw the stats and be like, oh yeah, she's right. Like, some of the teammates aren't doing their part, or maybe they're not putting up the stats they should. But at the same time, that's the team aspect of it. You have to be a team. You have to be in it together. Like, that's also a part of sports, of being like, look, maybe that, there might be a weak link on the team, but how can I prop them up? How can we put them in the best position to succeed? Like, you just sometimes have to deal with some of those things in sports. And like you said, it's just kind of the way that it probably hit some people's ears, being like, well, there's only so many of us in this room, so which ones are you talking about? Like,
so who got to go?
Exactly. So it's just one of those things where it's just makes it an uncomfortable situation.
And I'm happy that you originally said that, because it made me begin to think, everybody knows that Steph Curry isn't a defender.
Yeah.
The first person in that Golden State jersey to say it is out. We all know that we are here working on defense for him, because he's a liability. So what? None of us can shoot 40. Like him. So it just is what it is.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I understand that Angel is frustrated. And I can admit, here's where, and again, the biggest lie that we've ever been told is like, there's no relationships and stuff in sports, and not to remove your feelings. I do have a relationship with Tyler Marsh. It ain't the closest relationship, but me and Tyler talk about wrestling. Me and Tyler talk about basketball. I didn't have conversations with people that I love in basketball that adore Tyler. First thing that went through my mind when those comments came out was, how many other ways can you throw your head coach under the bus?
Yeah.
And I'm with you in terms of maybe something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this seems like one of those situations. If it did, we'll eventually hear about it.
Yeah.
But I talked to Tyler before he started in Chicago, right? Like, officially started. He took the job, but this was at a UNLV game, I think. And we had the conversation, and I was like, T, like, I already know the answer, kinda, but why Chicago? I think the first thing out of his mouth was Angel and Camilla.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't I? Like, people talk about player development and they think I'm good at player development. I get to start with those two canvases.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Like, let me figure out how this works. And like, I'm gonna, now this is my basketball brain being able to tinker with it and see what works around it. In one season, this happened. So again, I don't know, but as soon as I heard her comments, while I'm cool being a player, the coach in me, hell no. Who are you talking about? Since you make the decisions, who needs to go?
This goes back to your mom's tipping. Great.
You know where I was going with it. My dog. That's funny. And then let's end basketball talk with Caitlin Clark, right? Yeah. Caitlin Clark, they announced that she's done for the year. I did like seeing the entire basketball world pour out to her. Hamstrings, man.
Yeah.
Gotta just, and obviously she has a lot. She has a hamstring, she has a quad, which is the top of the hamstring essentially, or the top of the leg.
Yeah.
Dealing with an elbow, dealing with a back. I think she got a foot problem, so she's dinged up. You ready for me to be a little controversial?
Okay, let's hear it. That's what I'm here for.
There's a video of Caitlin in a huddle or whatever. Somebody's like monitoring the huddle, and then when they back up, they almost hit her. Her reaction was like, whoa. And then the cameraman I'm working. Cameraman backs up, and then she goes over to him and like she puts her hand on the camera, like puts his hand on him. I'm pretty sure she said, like, you almost hit me, like, watch out. Respectfully, I believe that is a small microcosm. And do I believe that into this situation? Do I believe that Caitlin Clark has to miss the rest of the year? Yes. Do I believe Caitlin Clark has to miss the rest of the year because of an ankle, or because of a quad or a hamstring? Yes. Do I believe Caitlin Clark needs to miss the rest of the season for the 7 things that they listed? No.
Probably not.
You know what? We know what conversation is going to happen next year. Well, I only played 13 games last year. I've taken a beating, and maybe it doesn't come from her.
Yeah.
So maybe she's taking a beating. Maybe her team gets to say it now. The coaches get to say it. The league gets to say it. Let's call bullshit, because if that's the case, Alyssa Thomas damn near is falling apart.
Yeah, she's dying out there.
Come on, fam. Like, let's not do this shit. Let's not do this. Similar to what Pat Beverly said to Satu Sabali. I'm with y'all. They need to pay y'all more. Don't get to talking about playing back-to-backs now. You're going to lose me. And that's kind of where I feel about Caitlin. You right. They be whooping your ass sometime out there. Let's not do this shit right here. I literally watch Alyssa. Again, I come from the era where Kobe dislocated his right shoulder and shot with his left hand.
Yeah.
There are people that's like, oh, well, that's a different league. Alyssa Thomas still doesn't have a right shoulder. And I don't think she ever will again. And AT is constantly in MVP conversations. I didn't need the Indiana fever to tell me that she was dealing with a sore back and an ankle and a foot. Let me go ask Asia what's hurting on her.
At this point in the season, most things. And maybe less so in basketball, but even in football and hockey and some of the more contact sports too, like you get to a certain point where it's like it's
hockey for sure.
It's unspoken. Like, hey, how many times in hockey the playoffs end? You're like, yeah, I broke like 8 bones, but I was just playing through it. And
I don't want to be.
Those guys are a little different, but
I don't want to be disrespectful because you're around him much more than I am. Have you ever seen Mark Stone walk straight?
Hey, he's had a lot.
Okay, all right. That's somebody who's one of the better players in the league. I don't know if you can stand up straight.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah, some of these guys, the things that they go through too, where it's like you just gotta kind of put it past you, and look, some things you cannot play through, right? I don't
think she can play through this quad.
No, exactly. Like, I'm not telling her to get out there and play. Like, no, if she's out for the season, there's a reason she's out for the season. Like, she wants to be out there, and I'm, she wants to participate with her team, but at the same time, it is like, yeah, when you compare it to Alyssa Thomas or something, like players in that league that are already going through a lot too, and it's like, all right, like. We found a little more here. Like
we found out mid-year, Candace was playing on a broken foot.
Yeah,
and to the point to where the Aces was like, when we found out, the Aces was like, we told her early in the year to get the surgery.
Yeah, it's like it's just one of those tough.
She tried to play on it.
Athletes in general too, where they want to push things to the very edge, and it's like sometimes you got to protect them from themselves, but some at other times too, when you hear stories around the league, it's like, all right, we're all kind of going through it, and yeah, there might be you might list 7 things, but 4 of them you can play through, and like you said, 2 of them are season ending.
Or the answer. 2 of them are the reason why we're having this conversation. And like I said before, I'm not a CC hater like a lot of people want to deem it to be. We want her out there, right? Basketball needs her out there, which is why we'll end this by saying her new logo.
I don't think I've seen her new logo. Let me look.
Google that Caitlin Clark logo really quick, because you know that she has the State Farm deal, right? So obviously in those commercials, she says from the logo, whatever. I think they absolutely smoked that logo. And this is
like a luxury clothing brand. It looks crazy.
Right? So I don't want to be this guy, but obviously I came in here and I said I didn't necessarily care for Asians. I said that. I still don't know what Asians is.
Yeah.
So it just kind of is what it is.
Maybe it was like one of the, I don't know, it was the WNBA or ESPNW or something. They posted a bunch of like player logos, and I saw Asia's. I think it was the first time I saw it, and I was like, normally you like tilt your head, you're like, is there a letter in there somewhere? And like I have it up right now, and I'm just like,
You ever seen the?
Don't know what this is.
You ever seen Amoeba Music?
Let me look that up.
It almost looks like the Nickelodeon slime like splat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I see, yeah.
And I have no problem with it, but that's what I get when I see it, right? So I saw
very
Caitlyn,
abstract.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So let me not say a little bit. It is. Only for her shoes to be fire. I looked at Caitlyn's logo and I said, okay, I see the double C's. Like you said, I see how it's playing off the luxury brand. They broke down the logo.
I pull that up right here too.
And that's the insane part. That is absolutely, that's a basketball court. That's the paint of a basketball court.
Yeah.
When I seen that, and I think what was the slogan? She has everything from logo to logo, whatever it was. I was like, yo, they're smoking this rollout. Whatever that slogan is that comes with that new logo, that commercial where she's shooting from her logo.
Mm-hmm. The meaning starts to get a lot better.
Like, bruh, like I'm a firm believer in you can sell the White House black paint. Like you can sell anybody anything if you do it right. Hey, dog, this is gonna be. Remember when everybody said people aren't buying Under Armours? Then all of a sudden you saw a bunch of 7-year-olds out there running around in Steph Curry's.
Yeah,
this is about to be the exact same.
Yeah,
thing.
crazy how one person can change things.
Hey, man. I do have the Basketball Hall of Fame to get to, but because we are already running into the last 10 minutes of the show, I don't have that for you guys today. Unfortunately, we would do that on Thursday. Typically, we do more basketball talk on Thursdays anyway. But told you guys we had a lot of a lot of football talk. We knew we were going to give the Aces a decent amount of time. Let's wrap up the only way we know how with some baseball talk. My Aviators are wrapping up their regular season. They are preparing for their final road series of the year, final regular season road series of the year, right? Well, the way the playoffs work, the Aviators won't be leaving home after this particular week. So the Aviators are away from home for the final time this season. They're at Reno for 6 games. That starts tomorrow at 6:35 p.m. They're coming off of a road trip where they took 4 of 6 away from Sacramento up at Sutter Health Park. We know a little bit about that park, don't we?
Yeah.
There's an extra inning win somewhere in there. It was actually off of the bat of Ryan Lasko, and that was his first RBI with the Las Vegas Aviators. So we talked about it before. A lot of the names that I'm about to mention, well, a couple of the names that I'm about to mention, Russo, you haven't heard all year long, and there's a reason for that.
Guys.
There's a reason for that. I do want to also mention Luke Mann. Luke Mann hit his first home run in this series. So Ryan Lasko and Luke Mann. Recent additions to this Aviator group, right? But here's the thing. This series went the way it went because the Aviators had strong starting pitching. Kay Morris ended up going 6 innings during his start. Ken Waldichuk got his second win. I believe he's 5 to this point. Went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, gave up 2 runs on those 5 hits. No, that's not like a super dazzling line. Mm-hmm. But if I showed you some of Waldy's earlier lines from earlier this season, again, this is a lefty. I always want to add that with pitching. This is a lefty making his way back from Tommy John. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to lie. It's been pretty bad for Waldy at times. I don't know if I'll have a chance to talk to him this year, but I cannot wait to have a conversation with him next year just to see what the offseason looks like. But it's literally been a grind. It's been a grind for Waldy. So to see him get a second win was really, really dope. And then if I told you that Jack Cushion was 11-1, can you name anybody else on this pitching staff that would be named the pitching MVP besides him? I don't give a damn what the saves look like. I don't care what the ERAs look like. You got 11 wins in minor league?
That's impressive stuff. I mean, shit, 11 wins anywhere is not too bad, but especially in the minors too, when things are so fluid like that and you never know what's going on. Like, yeah.
So remember how I told you the Aviators, once they start losing, I was like, you're not really going to have a say-so in who you play next, right? Here's where I might have been wrong. There's 12 regular season games left, right?
Yep.
Here's where things get interesting, Russo. The Aviators are 8th in the PCL. They're not going to finish with the best record in the league unless they win the rest of their games and everybody ahead of them loses the rest of theirs. So it's not going to happen, right? However, Tacoma is still the best team in the second half at 41-22. Sacramento's 5 games behind. Why is that important? Sacramento just lost their series to the Aviators. So the Aviators keep Tacoma in front. El Paso's 5-5 behind. Round Rock is 6 games behind. Here's what's interesting: the Aviators keeping Sacramento off of Tacoma's tail means Tacoma may start to run away with this second half.
Yeah.
If Tacoma clinches this second half sometime during this week, that locks up a Las Vegas Tacoma matchup in the first round of the playoff, or in the PCL side of the playoffs. Through 18 games this year, the Aviators claimed 14. I don't know that Fran doesn't want that.
I want to take that. Yeah. Kind of one of those instances where you have your say, maybe a little bit, even though it's not direct, but yeah, like I'm sure Fran's all over that in terms of positioning his team accordingly. But yeah, that's some of the stuff where you can hopefully throw out the more lackluster second half overall and then point to that specific matchup and say, hey, like let's get back to what we do and get back to some of the first half stuff.
And I'm happy that you brought that up too, because I think what's interesting is it's the Seattle Mariners organization. So while you get Seattle and Oakland Seattle and Athletics still battling right in minor league, that might be the best case scenario for the Aviators, because it's like, well, that means you guys are going to strip your team too.
Mm-hmm.
So once that happens, maybe everybody's playing with a bunch of AA guys and a bunch of new guys that are trying their first hand at this. So maybe it works out for everybody. But again, that series with Reno starts tomorrow up in Reno. 6:35 scheduled first pitch. So that means probably 6:37, 6:38 is usually what we get. So we'll see what happens. Last topic, and I think my dad sent the tip in during the show. We'll see. Dad, put it in the comments if you did, and I'll check. I don't know whether I'm happy or not with this last topic.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. The Angels lost 2 of 3 on the road. No, the Angels lost 2 of 3 at home to the Angels, or to the Athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I start this way? I cover the Athletics. I don't cover the Angels, right? There's a reason why I started this way. Because I did not tell you that the Angels were going to get caught by the Athletics.
You did say this. You felt it coming.
Didn't I say this?
Yeah.
And I said, I don't give a damn if it happens on the last day of the season. The Angels will be last in the ALS. And it won't be until then that everybody say, damn, the A's hit rock bottom and came back up before the Angels did. It won't be until then that people realize it. But let me explain this 3-game series really quick. The A's win 10-4. Game 1, right?
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Lawrence Butler hits a homer, and I think JJ Bleday hits a homer. By the way, Salim Dweck was absolutely right when we got him from Miami. He said if he's up there, that's a guaranteed 30 homers. Just leave him up there. And then JJ follows it up and hits a home run the following day as part of a 17-4 win.
Nice.
I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
They lost game 3 4-3. Let them cook.
Yeah.
They lost game 3 4-3, right?
Okay, so 2 of 3 to the A's.
Things happen. Here's where things get spooky. The A's are 66-78 overall. They're last in the AL West. They're a game and a half back of the Angels. Russo, I see you over there nodding. I see your eyes moving. That means you're looking at some standings.
I am.
You know exactly where I'm going because it tells you the makings of a good baseball team. Russo, what the hell am I looking at?
Well, right now I'm looking at the run differential, personally. Angels have a negative 120 run differential. A's are only negative 70.
So you're a basketball fan. So if we're going by Lawler's law, right, in terms of Clipper land, first to 100 wins, right?
Yeah.
So if we're going by whatever my rule is, right, run differentials tells you who's the better team.
Mm-hmm.
In short order, the Angels will be the last place team in the AL West.
It does appear that way, yes.
The fact that the A's are 12 games under 500 after starting the year the way that they did, Mark Kotsay, goddamn it.
Like I said, I think we were here earlier last month too, where we were talking about the A's, and I was looking at the standings, and they were not great, but like even now they're 9.5 back of the wild card. Like, are they going to make it? No, probably not, barring some literal miracle. But
which the A's tend to pull out.
Hey, but they're in it, right?
Right.
And they're not mathematically eliminated as we sit here on September 8th. So I think that's a win in and of itself when you consider where the A's came from in the last couple of seasons. Like, they're in the mix. And then that's when you start to think too, where game or two goes different earlier in the season. You get maybe an extra inning win that you didn't grab, or you don't blow a walk off in June sometime, like
Dodgers.
yeah. Yeah. Well, talk about a historic way to do that. But
I know
you're right in the mix.
Like that. My dad did not like that.
I mean, we've hit on the Ravens already. We've hit on the Dodgers. Anything else we can really?
Bubba Chandler.
I don't know who that is.
You're right. Let's get to the next one. My dad's tip in. I seen that this morning and I said, should I do it? Should I do? I said,
great reliever. Great reliever.
Somewhere through the show, I'm gonna just drop in Bubba.
Yeah,
just
great reliever. Love him.
Quick. All right, I'm going home. My bad. I'm going home. My bad, y'all. My bad. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We just hit the 2-hour mark, so we're about to read my dad's tip in and get out of here. Yo, where does he go for these? Okay, this is another strange sports story.
Nice.
What's going on with my mic stand? No, don't do this now. This is the story of the dead jock who won a race. Frank Hayes was a horse trainer and trainer. Wait, was it what? Was a horse? Is he a horse rider? Dad, text me back. But he was a horse trainer and a stableman. Then one day, I got the notification that Monday Night Football is getting ready to start. So we're going to read this tip in and we'll get out of here. We have Minnesota and Chicago tonight. You know whose eyes are locked on that one? This guy.
I need like 8.5 points from DJ Moore. So let's go DJ Moore, please.
I can't find myself rooting for anybody in those uniforms.
That's fine.
No, I'm just playing. I love Caleb, man. Let's go SC. I'm excited to see JJ McCarthy.
I'm excited for a lot.
If we're just talking football,
you're ruining your dad's tip in right now, man. Come on,
ass him. Let's go back
Restart
to it.
Restart it. Some justice for the tip ins here.
Great job for Russo. The strange sports stories continue. This is the story of a dead jock who won a race. Frank Hayes was a horse trainer and a stableman. Then one day in 1923, the then 22-year-old. That's interesting. The then 22-year-old was asked to ride a horse in a steeplechase at Belmont Park. Let me cut this brightness up. His horse, Sweet Kiss, was a 21 long shot. Between that and the fact that it was Hayes' first race, nobody expected much of him, or as Steve would say, he was surprised everybody on multiple levels. What? Dad, I think you might have been reading this and it's coming off awkward, brother. Because this didn't translate well. Between that and the fact that this was Hayes' first race, nobody expected much of him. Okay, they needed him to make weight. That's where it's getting mixed up. So they needed him to make weight. So he needs to slim down from 142 pounds to 130 pounds, and he reportedly pulled it off in one day.
Okay,
that's where things went left.
Cut a leg off, or
that's where things went left. Clearly, right? So he reportedly slimmed down from 142 to 130, and he did so in one day, as reported by the Buffalo Morning Express. They described it as he spent several hours on the road jogging off surplus weight. He sweated. He denied himself water. He climbed onto the saddle at post time and was weak and tired. That was the worst place to be, especially for a newbie who had never raced before. The sport is demanding of jockeys whose arms and legs don't work like pistons nonstop. He added, the heart rates can go as high as to 180 beats per minute.
Okay.
Now I see where we're going. At some point during the race, that turned out to be Hayes' first and last race, as he suffered a heart attack and died instantly. However, he did not fall off of the horse and remained in the saddle and crossed the finish line in first place.
Okay.
It was only then, when the officials went to congratulate him, that they discovered that he had passed on. Hayes became the only dead jockey to ever win a race. As to Sweet Kiss, it never raced again. It was forever known after as the Sweet Kiss of Death.
That's kind of a cool name, though. I'm sorry.
As a guy who likes horse racing, I was kind of like, that's kind of a good way to go out if he's gonna do it, I guess, right? Shout out to my dad for that tip in. I did talk to my dad as I was driving in, and he said that he was in the middle of working on the tip in. Oh. So he may have started doing voice right after that. I knew that because when he said race one time, they said raise. Like, we gave him a raise. And I was like, definitely auto text.
Yeah.
Or definitely voice to text. But Russo, I thank you, brother. I had to have you here on this day to talk football, to officially welcome in this week 1. We wrap up this week 1 in about 3 hours, brother.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you go ahead and get home, get some rest. You got hockey coming.
I do.
You have hockey. Until then, we have what? We have a lot of UNLV football.
Yep.
We have a lot of Raider talk. We have still the Aces in their championship pursuit. And then we'll get to all those nice little fall sports that we have. So until next time, gang. From me, from Russo.
This beat crazy.